You got troubles, put them in the past, cause you're free at last, time to have a blast. You don't know, well, we're so glad that you asked. It's the FOZCAST.
Hello, and welcome to the FOZCAST podcast, episode 9. We have an absolute crazy one for you today. I feel like a lot of people are going to do this, like content-wise, but it's going to be pretty funny. We are roasting 2020 and all the crazy shit that has gone on. Too much to list, think of, so we're going to go through it pretty in-depth. If you want to go through it with us, for anyone that's here, we're using a website called On This Day. It has like all the exact dates, all the crazy shit that's happened. With me today, we have TheBigEzyEduardo and Emma. Both previous guests, but I thought these two, they definitely fit for the roast. And I was hoping Ed'd be a few beers deep, because it's like 8 p.m. his time.
Yeah, I'm a couple in. I'm 3 in, so
Just
it should be
what
pretty
I was
entertaining by the end
expecting.
of it. Yeah.
For me and Emma, it's only like
earlier,
12 p.m. noon, so we haven't started drinking yet. It is Christmas Eve, so it wouldn't be bad if we did. But
I was going to start earlier, but I thought I'd be a little bit coherent for the start of this. So
no breakfast beers this time.
It's going to get worse and worse.
Yeah, it's probably going to get worse and worse. I mean, judging by how in-depth this website goes, we might be here for an hour and a half. We are going to try and trim the fat of, the important bits, though. So, without further ado, we shall start with January. As far as this website goes, January 2020, something about darts. I don't really give a shit about darts. We just want to roast the best bits, Donald Trump, COVID, all the good shit. So we've got January 1st, pro-Iranian protesters end siege of US embassy in Baghdad. And then January 3rd, US drone strike kills top Iranian security and intelligence commander, Qasem Soleimani, I think his name's pronounced, outside the Baghdad airport in Iraq. I don't know how much about this you guys remember, but I woke up to World War III trending on Twitter, which was pretty scary.
Yeah, I remember it.
Go on.
I remember. Sorry, you go, Emma.
That's all right. You go.
I was going to say, I remember kind of like it leading up. I think it was brewing for a couple of weeks beforehand, and I think it was the first strike that Trump had signed off on. And yeah, it was just waiting for it to completely go bananas.
Yeah.
Which was pretty full on. It was kind of his last year of election year and seeing what crazy shit he could do. And that was kind of like the start of it.
I think that's pretty much what the start of this year was. It was all, well, whatever happens in November, let's see how much shit we can get away with, throw balls to the wall and just say fuck it. And literally everything just went tits up.
I mean, when I saw that trending on Twitter, I went into work, I saw it in the morning trending on Twitter, and then I went to work. And everybody I knew was like a fucking politician. All of a sudden they were like, oh, we won't go to war with this person because they're allies with this person. Everyone was all of a sudden this huge fucking in-the-know nuclear analyst or some shit. It's you have no idea what you're talking about. You're some random fucking old person from Britain with no idea what you're talking about. I mean, street politicians, as I call them, really annoy me. They just think they know everything and they always have an opinion on politics. Which is fine, but it's those people who think they know everything, right?
Yeah, they quickly get a doctorate in political science.
Yep.
With every major political event that happens, bang, expert comes out.
I actually had an argument with my mum about like Boris Johnson and stuff last night. Not that she came to my house because UK is a bit funny right now. You're not supposed to have people round. I didn't commit a crime, I swear. Boris, don't come and ruin my Christmas. We'll get to you at a later date though, Boris, as we get further through the year, you piece of shit. Events of interest. Next up is January 4th. Australian bushfires toll reaches 23 as PM Scott Morrison announces National Defence Force will be employed to help fight more than 200 fires amid criticism of his leadership.
Scotty from marketing. Scotty from marketing. Far out.
Ed.
So yeah, Scott Morrison is known as Scotty for marketing in Australia. And like any leader, is a bit of a dropkick. So like the bushfires started in it was around about November last year.
Yeah.
And he thought it was a good idea to go in December when they were progressively getting worse. He thought it was a wise idea to go on holiday to Hawaii.
I do remember seeing that, and then eventually didn't he end up going to like Victoria or something, and there was like a video circulating where they're all like, basically they chased him out of town, they told him to fuck off because they didn't want him there because he'd been useless.
So he's rocked back up from like going to Hawaii. So he's gone like after the bushfires started, rocked back up home, and he's gone to he was in regional Victoria, and he went to shake this dude's hand, and this guy just didn't move. And he was just like, "No, sorry, buddy." Yeah, and he literally got chased out of town. Like, yeah, people would tell him to fuck off, and
I'm not surprised.
he got in his car. Yeah, he got in his.
He's coming back from Hawaii, fresh tan, still in his fucking palm tree like polo t-shirt that he's been wearing, shorts.
Yeah, exactly. He was still in his party shirt, and he was like, "Oh, everyone deserves a holiday," but it's like, dude, you're the leader of the country. Your country's literally burning to the ground.
Again, Boris did that in the middle of COVID, and a lot of people were very angry.
Well, most of the Tory government did.
Yep.
On childcare basis.
Yep.
They're a bunch of cunts, honestly.
But yeah, Scotty from marketing. He's a bit of a.
He's your area of expertise, Ed. You live over there.
Yeah. So and the thing is, like, who's? No one actually really knows who. Like, usually the opposition leaders are pretty outspoken in Australia. They always have been. And so anyway, Scotty won the election last year. The opposition got a new leader, and his name's Anthony Albanese. But I only remember that because I was watching a year in review last night, and that was only like, if you'd asked me like a week ago who the leader of the opposition was, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. They're just like nowhere in sight, because they just know they're gonna, whatever they say is just going to be crucified. If they kind of disagree, they're just going to get absolutely roasted. So, but yeah, anyway, Scotty from marketing. There'll be a few more crackers from him.
A few more crackers from him, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that
January.
Yeah, it's just that
January 4th, I don't actually remember this one. I don't think there was a lot of news coverage on it, or maybe it's just been so long I forgot about it. Floods and landslides caused by torrential rain in Jakarta, Indonesia, kills at least 53. I don't remember a lot of news coverage about that.
No, it probably wasn't over here.
No, we had a little bit in Australia because Indo's, realistically, it's like 100 k's off the coast of Australia. It's pretty close to us, but it was pretty low key. I mean, given that just on that last one we were burning, so we were kind of, a lot of our media coverage was on the bushfires.
I think that's probably why we didn't see a lot of that as well. I think I saw a lot more of the Australian bushfires over that being covered.
British news.
There's like so much of it, like all over the British news. And then January 5th, we have Iran pulls out of the 2015 nuclear deal, will not limit its uranium enrichment. So I'm guessing that's kind of a result as America bombing one of their own. They were like, yeah, you know what, we're not going to keep that deal anymore. Basically, not to collect a shitload of nuclear arms. Which, I don't know, like, I don't know a lot about that situation, but if someone killed a general of my country, then I probably would have done the same, you know? You have to kind of show, like, some solidarity and get your balls on the table, I guess, like a big show of power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It's one of those things that pretty much that as soon as you get bombed by
Yeah,
another country, you're just gonna be like, nah, no more deals. I'm out. I'm
yeah,
out completely. Just walk
retaliation,
away.
pretty
It's
much, yeah.
because you know you're not gonna win when they start bombing you like via drones. So you
I'm getting
just
away
you
with
go to
it.
the next. Yeah. So the next thing is that you just go off and it purely becomes diplomacy and it goes out the window. It's to mitigate anymore kind of.
So we have a significant event here on this website we're using. It's called onthisday.com for anyone who's just joined us and sort of wants to read along with us. The next one is Golden Globes. I wasn't really going to talk about this, but I do feel like we should go over maybe some of the movies. Like the last time me and you spoke on the podcast, Ed, we went over like the last decade, but it was like early 2020, maybe only like 2 or 3 months in, I think, maybe like before the first
Yeah.
lockdown. So Golden Globes 1917, which is like a World War One or Two movie, I think, won Best Drama. I'm still yet to watch that, but it is on Amazon Prime, so I'm going to watch that. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is, I can't remember his name. Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, that's the Tarantino.
Yep.
That's probably the one recent Tarantino film that I haven't watched yet.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one either. I've seen little tidbits.
And I've got to watch it because I've been a fan of like more of his recent stuff. Because was it the Hateful Eight, which I think was the last one that he did, which
Yeah, I think so.
I've watched like 3/4 of it. Started watching it again the other day, but I mean, what are like then the Kill Bill and everything like that. So and Inglorious Bastards. So apparently it's meant to be really good. But it's just one of those ones that just has got away.
Slips under the radar. I saw a lot about it and like little tidbits and like clips on social media, like parts of the Bruce Lee moments, and like I think later on in the year, Bruce Lee's daughter or sister or something basically said like he heavily misportrayed Bruce Lee and was trying to sue him or something. Basically, it just sounded like Bruce Lee's estate was just trying to make an easy buck, to be fair to me. But
I know,
yeah, because I think
it was Luke Perry's last film. I know that before he passed.
Yeah, and I think it was loosely and very loosely based on events around the time in Hollywood, so it wouldn't have surprised me that
murders as well. Like it was all about
Yeah.
Manson murders and all stuff like that.
Yeah, so it would have been a very Tarantino take on it. So it would have been very left of center.
You
so
have
it
to
doesn't
kind of
surprise me.
take everything in it, like one of his movies, with a pinch of salt, though. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
a lot of black actors that he has in his scripts say that they have no objection to him using the N-word in the scripts, but then, like, you see videos of him just saying the N-word outright, like, as himself in public. Yeah, he's a very questionable person, so I think you have to kind of take his movies, like, as you see them as well. That's a train.
Okay.
That is a train. That is a train. I do apologize for random train sounds. I've moved.
It's all right. That'll make a good clip for the socials later. I'll clip that out and just So going back to the Golden Globes and movies, acting awards by Renee Zellweger, Joaquin Phoenix, and Taron Egerton, or Egerton, however you pronounce his name. I think it's Egerton.
It's Egerton.
Yeah.
He's in one of my favourite movies, which is Kingsman. Not a movie of this year, but a good movie nonetheless. He's in Eddie the Eagle with
Hugh Jackman.
That's the one.
So
Why is it the minute I put the podcast up, remembering all names just goes out of the window? It's like...
So I think Taron Egerton is Joel Edgerton's brother, who's an Australian actor who was in... he was in like Neighbours. I think Joel Edgerton was in Neighbours or Home and Away, but it was also in a couple of really good Australian films, but was also in Star Wars Episode 1, and was, I think, Anakin's parents, Anakin's dad, from memory.
Hold on, I'll look that up. What's his
I can't remember.
called?
I know he's in.
Joel
he's
Edgerton.
in The King.
He also did that movie. He did that Robin Hood movie as well with
Jamie Foxx,
and Taron Egerton. Yeah. Yeah. Bro, my memory's
so
gone.
Kind of like the Edgerton family's like the low key kind of like Hemsworth family, like the equivalent, like they're second to the Hemsworth of being, but they're overall they're probably
the Jonas Brothers of the acting world.
Yeah, so it's like you got there like the Hemsworth and then you've got the Edgertons, and the Edgertons do a little bit more edgy stuff compared to Chris and who's the one that was in
Liam.
He was engaged. Yeah, Liam. Yeah, they do more the blockbuster stuff, but these guys kind of.
We're getting to January the 5th, which is the first mention of COVID, which
oh god
isn't the first mention of it for any of us. We're all probably fucking sick of hearing it, but going through the months, I'm going to probably butcher his name because it's a Chinese name, I assume. It is Chinese, it says there. Chinese professor Zhang Yongzhen publishes the first SARS-CoV-2 genome map online, allowing health professionals worldwide to identify COVID-19. Yeah, it took us all till March to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to that later.
Really, it was first sort of spoken about back in November, sort of like early November. And then it finally came over here January time. Well, we first started hearing about it in January time. And then lockdown happened for us March 23rd. Which was actually my birthday, so thank you, Boris.
Jeez,
fucking asshole.
Next thing you know, there's a rumour circulating around some Chinese dude bit the head off of a bat. But again, we're only in January. We shall get to that point later.
Because I think everyone would have treated like the original SARS from early 2000s and Mars and what was the one in Rio? For the
in
Olympics.
My chat, that's going to be straight on the YouTube video, and Boris is a cunt.
yeah.
I know who's going to be. I'll be getting a visit tomorrow, Christmas Day, if he ever sees it. Just like 10 police coming round, making sure I'm not breaching the rules.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Boris
booted the phone straight over. Right. January 7th, the 6.4 magnitude earthquake in Puerto Rico, island's largest in a century, 100 years, followed by many aftershocks, kill one person and destroys 800 homes. Another one that I don't really remember seeing much coverage of. We have a friend called Nava Flo that's like in our Discord and comes in my chat. And I remember him talking about that and mentioning like being worried about his family at the time, but I didn't really see much news coverage of that one either.
I saw a lot more about it recently with like relief funds and stuff like that, but when it actually happened, like, I don't remember anything being said in January time.
Yeah, it's weird, like how only certain things get covered. I guess like news outlets have to like prioritize what they're gonna put on airtime.
It's also because British news is biased as fuck, so
very true. Choose what they want you to see. Going back to Iran on January the 8th, Iran launches a missile strike on Erbil and Al-Assad bases in Iraqi housing some American troops in retaliation to the assassination of General Qasem Soleimani. So Iran did try and go for the revenge. I love how on this website, bombings of an Iranian general and them retaliating and killing a bunch of Americans is lesser news than the next event of interest, which is January the 8th. US singer Justin Bieber reveals he has Lyme disease, an infectious disease spread by ticks. And that's more news than generals and Americans being bombed.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck the Biebs, anyways. He's kind of irrelevant at this point in time, I think, anyways. I can't remember like the last song of his I heard, and I thought, you know what, that's actually good.
Don't lie, Fozzy, you're a major.
Nah, there was like a time where he released like 4 or 5 bangers all at once. I think it was like 2018 or 2019, and then I just never cared for him after that. But we're up to January the 8th, and we have 2 pretty big events that I actually do remember. Ukrainian Boeing 737-800 crashes just after takeoff from Tehran in Iran, killing all 176 people on board. I do remember that being all over the news, that massive plane crash.
Yeah, I remember it. It was I think it was 2018 when there was like the MH430, the 2 Malaysian airline crashes. And I think one was taken down by, I think, Ukrainian separatists. And then like a week before then there was MH430, and they based that just vanished, and they still haven't found it because they based the search out of Fremantle, which is literally 4 kilometers down the road from my place, the port. I remember going past and seeing all the big ships they use for like deep sea exploration and sonar, which was pretty intense. And I remember seeing that. It was kind of, because I don't think this was like that plane got too far off the ground, and it was kind of, I remember thinking, oh, is that a retaliation to the separatists down in the Malaysian Airlines flight from 18 months ago?
Yeah, because it's just outside of Iran as well. So it's a bit of a strange one. And on the same day, January 8th, we have the Duke and Duchess of Sussex announced they are stepping back as senior royals and will work towards becoming financially independent. So that's Prince Harry and Meghan Markle basically said, you know what, fuck the royal family. We're just going to fuck off, move to Canada, do our own thing. You know what? I can't stand many of the royal family, but I think Prince Harry, he's a sound ginger cunt, in my opinion. I reckon he's probably the soundest of them all. His mum was a sound woman. Shame what they did to her. Definitely killed her off. But we'll save that one for the we'll save that one for the Conspiracy Theories podcast whenever that one comes out.
Yeah,
I've been planning it for a very long time.
I remember, I think it was probably about a week or so ago, I was reading an article about like pretty much Diana and Charles were both having affairs at the same time.
Probably true.
Yeah, so that was kind of like around about the same time she was. I can't remember who she was having, like, allegedly having an affair with. But Charles was definitely having an affair with Camilla Parker Bowles, and I think that was kind of, yeah, again, one for your conspiracy theory of her getting taken out. But yeah, I
It
think out
seems
of all the
like
royal,
the royal family's been in the headlines for a lot of wrong reasons this year. Some of them that we'll get to. I think it's roughly March time that the thing I'm talking about comes out. I won't ruin it. We'll get there when we get there. I'm easing us in right now. The good shit's coming though. Like, I'm just easing us in with the boring shit right now.
It's mental that we've already been at this for what, half an hour.
Half an hour and we're still... And I'm picking the
Like
best
a
bits out
weekend.
as well.
This is still January
We're
11th.
only up to January. Yeah, I mean, we've got some shit here. Taiwan, January 11. Re-elects Tai Ing-wen. I hope I didn't butcher her name. Not that she's ever going to see this. For a second term as president in a landslide result. A lot of shit going on with like Taiwan, Hong Kong, and all that protests. I don't know if that actually will be on this as 2020. A lot of them riots and stuff happened in like 2019, right?
Yeah.
So we're up to January 12th. Another one I don't remember seeing a lot of coverage. The Taal volcano, 70 kilometers, which is 45 miles south of Manila in the Philippines, begins erupting, prompting evacuations. Which I don't remember seeing a lot of coverage about that. I don't know if like it's different where you were, Ed.
No. Again, like the Philippines is pretty close to. Actually, a little bit further up because there are a lot of Filipinos in Australia, so we must be pretty close. My geography is pretty shit. But yeah, vaguely remember it. I don't remember it prompting evacuations. I never thought it was kind of that bad. But
Yeah, I don't
do
remember much about that.
Yeah.
Then we have another event of interest, which is January 13th. So that is 5 days after Prince Harry and Meghan Markle decided they were going to fuck off and do their own thing. Queen Elizabeth II issues a statement saying she reluctantly supports Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wish to live a more independent life. Which basically, she had a private conversation with Meghan Markle and said, "Don't fuck me out. Like, do not fuck me about or you'll end up through the windshield of a car." In short.
Yeah. You get driven through another tunnel through France, all right? So fucking watch out.
Not now. Brexit's going on, but we'll get to that part. No one's allowed to go through the French tunnel right now. But that's a whole nother matter. Brexit.
I'll make it happen.
Yeah, the Queen will make it happen. You fuck her off, she'll kill you off. But I'm being careful what I say.
I'm glad enough time has passed where that can actually
that joke can actually be made. In before I just get when I post this to YouTube, just hatred everywhere.
Yeah, Boris will be knocking on your door tomorrow.
Yeah. We're up to a crispy one here. There's some shit about a 74-time Jeopardy champion. No one cares about you, Ken Jennings. Fuck you. We're getting up to the next juicy part now. January the 16th. Impeachment trial of US President Donald Trump begins in the Senate.
The moment everyone thought like gonna change everything.
Yeah, we thought Trump was going down the shit pan, but we had to wait another 8 months. That went on for like 3 weeks, that impeachment trial as well. And he got away with it all as well.
I thought he was done.
I think in the end it was 26 cases of sexual assault on his behalf that were released, and they were minors, of women. Like, it's fucking mental to think that that person is still in
power for now. Yeah. And there's like evidence of him saying shit like grab him by the pussy and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. But more on Donald Trump in about 5 minutes, I reckon. January 22nd, China locks down the city of Wuhan and its 11 million people in an effort to control the coronavirus, COVID-19, with a then official death toll of 17 and over 500 people ill. And that's in January 22nd. They're locking shit down with those numbers.
And they were doing it properly too. Like, I remember seeing footage of them like welding like locks onto doors of people.
Yep,
Like,
I remember seeing that, like shutting down nightclubs.
Yeah.
Just crazy. There we go.
I think I watched a vlog not too long after that of someone who was living in Wuhan, and they were walking through the streets, and it was literally like, the only thing I could describe it as is The Last of Us. Like, the streets were empty.
Empty. The same in Korea where they were like spraying the streets and all that shit. That was nuts. Like deep cleaning the streets. That's nuts in itself. Oh, this is a crispy one. Not that we're fans of sexual assault or anything on this channel, but January 23rd, actress Annabella Sciorra testifies in court that Harvey Weinstein raped her 25 years ago in his trial at New York. And that guy got away with that for 25 years, like the same as like Jimmy Savile,
Rolf
Harris, I was going to say, the one from your country. Couldn't remember his name for a moment.
Yeah,
Can you tell who he is yet? With a fucking wobble board? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But if you look, I mean, if you look at all of them and you look at Harvey, I mean, they all look like sex pests.
Yeah, and they're all in it together as well.
You would not want to be left in a room with them.
Do you believe in, like, not the Illuminati, but like an NWO, like, sex trafficking ring? Do you think that's like a real thing?
Yeah.
Like, they're all tied together, right? Where, like, he had this black book with, like, numbers in, and then he had, like, so many, like, royal family up there, country leaders, things like that.
They found out about Epstein's Island, yet think of all the ones that haven't been discovered.
Yeah,
like,
we're gonna get to Epstein's Island in a minute as well. I think I think that's a bit later in the year.
What was that movie like the doctor that had that island that had all the weird science experiments on it? I can't think of it. There was like a Simpsons episode of it.
Hold on.
I'll think of it.
So we are up to January 23rd, voice of an Egyptian priest. We don't care about that. 75 January 23rd again, 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. Death camp marked by an international forum in Jerusalem, Israel. 75 years since Auschwitz. That's fucked up, man. Like,
crazy.
Like 3/4 of a century. That's nuts. January 25th, severe rainstorms caused landslides and floods in Brazil's Minas Gerais state, killing at least 30. Another one with not much news coverage. Not in England, at least. And if anyone does want to follow along with this, again, there's a link in the chat for you. For anyone on YouTube, all the info's there for you on that website as well. Event of interest, January 26th, and this is a weird one because I was actually filming a podcast with Nakigro, who is a massive Kobe Bryant fan, on the day this happened, and someone came in chat and broke the news to us, which was a little fucked up. LA Lakers basketball legend Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter crash in foggy conditions in the hills above Calabasas, Southern California, considered one of the greatest players in the game's history. And his daughter was on that helicopter as well.
It's so fucked up. Like, I was literally, when I knew that we were going to be doing this, I was just thinking to myself, like, what happened this year?
I just read Chris's comment as we're talking about Kobe Bryant dying. The way you say Epstein Island makes it sound like the Thunderbirds. I read that right as we're talking about the saddest part, man. Chris, I hate you, dude.
such a twat. But like the fact that this like Kobe Bryant died at the start of this year is insane.
It's
first
weird
of all.
to think. I was actually thinking about that, like how long ago it was that I did that podcast episode.
Years ago, but it was literally the start of this year, and we're not even done with this year. That's the worst part.
Yeah, there's still 6-7 dreadful days of it left.
Yeah, I remember speaking to Nikegro about that afterwards as well. Like he was
torn up, man.
He was a mess for a good couple of weeks. It was like he had memories of his family died. Like he was wrecked.
I mean, I was kind of there like 10-20 minutes after going, do you want to like call it here? Like he looked genuinely like torn to pieces. I was like, I don't think I want to carry on with this, man. The guy's in bits. Yeah, but he's like a massive sports nut, isn't he? Like NFL, NBA, you name it, he's in on it.
Yeah, like the dude is literally a walking sports almanac.
Yep. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous how much he knows. And it's not just like the national sports like the NFL and the NBA. It goes all the way down to like college basketball and college football and it almost like high school stuff as well. It's like
exactly, Chris.
Of what he knows and like it doesn't surprise me.
Next up, January
2020. What are you to be roasting?
What are you to be roasted? Yeah, January 26th, 62nd Grammy Awards. Billie Eilish wins 5 Grammys, including album, record, and song of the year. To be fair, there was some bangers on that album. I ain't even ashamed to admit it. Anyways, that's like a minor thing. January 28th, US President Donald Trump releases his Middle East peace plan alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I think that's pronounced.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
What Ed said.
Can't believe I still can't believe he's the PM
Prime Minister of Israel.
He's been the Prime Minister of Israel since I was a kid. Or he's been in and out.
I mean,
I remember his last name's Whack.
Aren't they? I think I saw something on the news like earlier though, where he's out now. He's not the Prime Minister anymore, is he? They went on like strike or protest against him. I'm pretty sure, like this week.
Oh, they've done that so much. So I remember him being around when like he was the Palestinian dude, and he was a nutbag, and it was the same time as Boris Yeltsin, the drunken Russian Prime Minister, who was a freaking hoot. I wish he was still around because he would have made some freaking great news headlines.
I'm trying to look now.
Funny.
Yeah, here we go. Israel calls 4th election in 2 years as his coalition collapses. Which is pretty fucked up, 4 elections in 2 years. Saying that, we had a pretty close thing here where we had like 3 elections and 2 referendums on Brexit, which is pretty fucked up considering half the country allegedly voted for it. So we're at the end of January here now. We're getting to the juicy bit. Like I reckon March, all the good shit starts hitting. Number of coronavirus cases passes those of SARS or SARS with over 7,700 cases in China confirmed with 170 deaths. So we're getting to the juicy bit of the coronavirus right now. I say the juicy bit. We've been living in the juicy bit for what feels like forever. This is January the 30th. The World Health Organization declares the coronavirus a public health emergency of international concern at a meeting in Geneva.
I can't believe that it took
3 months.
The majority of the world, 2.5, 3 months, like to March and April to go into lockdown and actually do something about it. It's kind of like, well,
and some of us still aren't doing the right thing now. 9 months later, it's fucked.
Well, we're in our 3rd lockdown now.
And it's not. And it's kind of like afterwards there was a heap of criticism on the WHO. They're like, "Oh, you didn't do enough about it." It's like, well, they did on January 30th. They declared it a public health emergency.
I mean, they were only I mean, they had the knowledge that they had, you know.
Yeah, based on what they had, and that they called it then, but it took everyone else how long to actually do something about it. So,
I mean,
I think New Zealand, China, and I can't remember who else were the only ones that actually...
South Korea did a really good job at managing it as well.
As soon as it got to dangerous levels, they were like, no, cut everything.
I mean, most of New Zealand's locked off now, right? Still, they're only just opening things back up.
New Zealand's allowing people and parties.
Yeah, I think they.
Uni just said, sorry to interrupt. He said, January freaked me and my family out. We went out and went to our first family trip outside of Canada. My first time leaving North America. And when we came back, everyone was in a mask. We had no idea what was going on. You thought you'd got on the wrong plane and ended up in China. Just like they always wear masks. You just end up at the wrong place.
Kind of get off the airport and take you to a couple of times.
They just ram you on the nearest train, like trying to close the doors. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Anyways, January 31st, we are at the end of January. United Kingdom formally withdraws from the European Union. As a Brit, I just think it's the most stupid thing we've ever done. Like,
it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's fuck. The more we stick to guidelines, the faster we get out. But at the same time, many governments don't handle their shit properly. Yeah, big stake. Our government's one of the worst. Mine and Emma's. Just ridiculous. Brexit is pretty stupid. I don't know anyone who follows British politics, but the French are just fucking us because they can right now. And they're blaming COVID for it, but I'm assuming this will get to that later.
I mean, when you
go on, Emma.
When you're looking at videos and stuff, like a lot of it stems from the like racism in Britain.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about not. It's because when they were initially talking about Brexit, they were discussing deportation. They were like, "Oh yeah, this is great. Get all the foreigners off our soil."
Yeah, like Brexit and immigration were like the two. That was
all Brexit.
And basically saying our NHS would be better off.
Fucking Paul Simon.
Emma's cutting in and out a little.
They were always going to privatise the NHS. Oh, it's because my signal's shit. Is that any better?
A little bit, yeah. You're all good anyways, no worries.
Yeah. But, yeah, like the people, I mean, people where I live, fucking council estate, they don't care about trading standards. They don't care about how much it's going to cost to trade fucking things from Europe. It's literally just because they don't want foreigners on their soil, even though colonizers, but we won't talk about that.
That's a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Don't colonizers. Meanwhile,
you ungrateful colonials, the bunch of you. I don't know why it's gone back to like January 20th. I think it just goes to like celebrity shit that's popping off.
Yeah,
we've got divorce of interest. Liam Hemsworth and singer Miley Cyrus divorce after a year of marriage.
It goes to famous weddings and famous divorces, but
famous deaths. Is there any of note here that we're really gonna know? Like American NFL defensive backs.
Oh my God, there's a lot of NFL deaths this year. Holy shit.
I think it's just these are like kind of the ones that aren't household names. You wear a mask for a few reasons. You want to protect myself and others. I'm honestly so used to it you don't notice it. And the most important, I like to think you're a ninja when you wear it. I'm a 39-year-old child.
Yeah. Fucking there was a clip last night that I saw of the head of the Australian Health Department. He's like, wear a mask, and he completely botched it. Like the mask is going over his eyes, it flings off his ear. when he puts it back on, man, it was hilarious. He's like, wear a mask, and he couldn't even put it on.
So we're now up to February, and it's taken us 44 minutes just to get through January, which is brutal. But that's what we're here. We're here to break it all down. I can like chop it into bits on YouTube somehow. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I'll put all the months into a section. February the 1st, locusts swarm across East Africa, leads Somalia to declare national emergency, the largest in 25 years. Dude, that's fucking hell right there. Like, imagine you're just in like your house and you just see a huge fucking swarm of locusts just fly past your house. I'd be like, oh, hell no. I'd be getting like a deodorant can and a fucking lighter and trying to burn them all.
I remember everyone on Twitter was just like, oh my God, it's literally the second coming. Like, Judgment Day is about to happen. But we've got a fucking epidemic at this point because it wasn't really a pandemic when this started. But then you had the fucking locusts, and then you had all these people dying. It literally was like Judgment Day. But you had all these people like, I remember all the WhatsApp groups, all the WhatsApp aunties saying, you know, if you drink hot water and ginger and like all this shit.
It's the rapture. It's the rapture. Help us, baby Jesus.
The 2020 rapture. It pretty much is rapture this year.
It was,
Yeah.
And then there's not really like anything up to February the 3rd. First Democratic caucus in Iowa won narrowly by Pete. That's an unfortunate name. Buttigieg. Most delegates and Bernie Sanders most votes after lengthy delays and irregularities in reporting the results. Then we have February the 5th. US Senate votes to acquit President Donald Trump 52-48 on charges of abuse of power and 53-47 on obstruction of Congress. This fucking asshole.
Honestly.
He only just got across the line. Like, that's...
I mean, he's got away with so much shit, and once he's out of power, that's it. It's all going to come back to haunt him. Which I love the thought of. I hate to say it for my American friends, though. I do just love the fucking meme that their country's become because of him. Like, the minute you vote him in, like, that's a meme in itself. Like, the 4 years of pain and agony he has caused America is, like, it's not funny for them, but for me, it's hilarious.
I think American politics is extremely hilarious. in Australia, like, we just don't care.
No,
like we've had. I think we would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 prime ministers in the past 10 years, because like they keep on like having leadership spills like halfway through their term, and we just don't care. Like, man,
it's kind of like the last 5 years here, where like we've changed leaders so many times, and then like the opposing party, the Conservatives, is like an absolute joke, so nobody knows what to do, and there's just no opposition to get the shit government we have like out.
Yeah,
but that's
like,
the thing. We had Jeff Corbyn.
We had a prime minister that was in an onion factory, like it was in an onion farm. Like, I was like the all media was there. Was like, why is it such a thing that our prime minister's being filmed in an onion farm?
Onion farm. Out of all the places they could put him, that's where, not in a hospital or like anywhere making a difference. An onion farm.
Backwater, like an onion farm, and he's holding an onion, and just out of nowhere, he takes a massive chomp out of an onion, like a fresh onion,
like Shrek.
Oh yeah, like a
Jesus.
massive chomp, and then sits there, realizes what he does, and continues to chew and eat the freaking mouthful of onion.
Jesus Christ!
Like, this is fantastic. This is like, no, this is why no one gives a shit about politics in Australia.
Now, February the 26th, February the 6th, sorry. US astronaut Christina Koch, nearly called a cock there, Koch, completes the longest continuous space flight by a female astronaut after 328 days on the International Space Station, landing in Kazakhstan. Very nice, great success.
Oh, the Borat movie, the second one, that was kind of cringy.
I haven't watched it yet. There's something you can add to November part. Africa has their 11th Ebola outbreak. Jesus. So they solved it in March and then another one in November. Fuck. February 6th again. Antarctica records high temperature of 64.9 Fahrenheit and 18.2 at Esperanza, Argentina's research station. Global warming. Greta Thunberg's cursing. What a character she is, Greta Thunberg, man. And the fact that she also got into a spat with Donald Trump on Twitter is amazing. Like, you just can't write this shit.
I can't remember what he called her, but it's now her Twitter bio.
Yeah, she changed it. And then something that he insulted her with, like 3 months ago, she literally waited until he got, like, lost the election. And then she copied his tweet, like, word for word to, like, slate him after he lost the election. It was hilarious. He got fucking schooled by, like, a teenager. Just
she's a whole
amazing.
Child.
Borat and Biden are the only positive things from 2020. February 6th again. Jesus, how many things on February 6th? Date of the first coronavirus COVID-19 related death in the US. Only confirmed by the CDC on April 21st. Then we go to February the 8th. Gunman shoots and kills 29 people in a shopping centre in Nakhon Ratchasima, Thailand. Hope I've pronounced that right. Anything with, like, from the Asian continent, I'm probably going to butcher it, whether it be a name of a person or a place. I'm going to butcher it. With 57 injured, shooter shot and killed by security forces a day later. Again, I actually don't remember any of that being covered.
Yeah,
like it's always in America, like mass shootings you see, and like I don't know if it's just like British media where they only ever want to cover like American news or what's happening in our own country.
We usually get a snippet of it in Australia, and it always ends like whether it be in Thailand or
with you being closer to like Asia,
it being so close, is that it's always like the military just completely own the attacker. Like it's pretty brutal of how the Thailand and especially the Filipinos, their military work.
They're brutal, yeah.
It's like brutal. They just no holes barred. They're like, we'll slaughter you in front of like in the middle of a busy street. They'll just gun them down. They won't ask questions.
Dude, by the end of this, if anyone's watching this all the way through, if you're still a happy person after this, more fucking to you. Seriously, like, I don't think we've read like maybe like the woman at the space station who like was 328 days, but Jesus Christ, like when you read through all this shit, it's like, holy fuck. We're still on February, by the way. We're not even up to March COVID, like.
That's it. Like, you think that all of this stuff would have been spaced out over the space of a couple of years, but no, this has all happened this year. And I think that's fucking wild.
Irish general election. No party wins a majority. Sinn Féin, 37 seats. And the popular vote. Fianna Fáil, 38 seats. And Leo Varadkar's ruling Fine Gael, only 35 seats. Considering it's actually so close to home, I didn't follow a lot of the Irish general election. I just think like
I was reading about the sin.
I'm just like, it's not really making that much of a difference to me. Am I that bothered? Like, I know that's bad to think, but I don't really have a say on what goes on in their country that much, so kind of none of my business. Maybe a bad outlook considering they're like, I don't know, a rowing boat over. Maybe not a rowing boat, but you know where I'm going with the statement or the sentiment.
A ginger swim on a Monday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
February 9th, fuck me, all of it's coronavirus. Jesus Christ. Deaths from coronavirus overtake those of SARS 2003 with 813 deaths worldwide, more than 34,800 known to be infected.
I've got to shut my window, it's too fucking cold. Jesus Christ.
I actually didn't know that anything about this one. Like, I didn't see any coverage about this. February 9th, suspected militants attack and kill at least 30 people, many while sleeping in their cars in Ono, northeastern Nigeria, kidnapping women and children.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Storm Ciara makes... This is February 9th still. Storm Ciara makes landfall in northern Scotland, bringing widespread wind and flooding to northern Europe, resulting in 18 deaths. I actually don't know how many of them deaths were, like, United Kingdom, if any. This one's for Ed here. February 10th, we've already been through the bushfires in January. More than 30 bushfires put out by heaviest rainfall for 30 years in New South Wales, Australia, helping end one of the worst bushfire seasons ever. 46 million acres burnt, over 1 billion animals killed, and 34 people dead.
And you know what? That's not the only time that this happened this year.
Mm.
we had I don't know whether we covered it or not, but we had a heap of bushfires on the East Coast in Fraser Island, which is, I think, the largest sand island in the world, like heritage listed. Just ravaged by bushfire. 2 weeks later, flooding.
Jesus Christ. It really is like the fucking... Jesus Christ. Like,
Yeah,
that is some
exactly.
shit you'd read in a Bible, like the fucking plague of locusts, fucking bushfires, flooding, and now a pandemic. Emma, your camera's gone weirdly sideways. I don't know why.
My phone keeps dropping.
We've got snowfalls in February 11th. I need to keep mentioning the date. Snowfalls in Baghdad, Iraq for only the second time in a century. Weird.
That's very weird to have snow in Baghdad. Like, we get snow in Australia, like in Victoria, we've got snowfields, even though they're extremely shit. And in Tasmania, because it's so far south and close to Antarctica. But
excuse me.
Yeah, Baghdad would be like the last place where you'd think there'd be snow.
I think it snowed in Pakistan this year as well, in Lahore. That climate change boy.
Global warming, yeah.
Greta Thunberg's on something.
3 plastic bottles in the bin or I'll hunt you fucking down. Is pretty much her motto, I'm pretty sure. US Attorney General William Barr recommends cutting suggested sentence of Roger Stone. No idea who that is. Prompting prosecutors to resign. No idea who any of that is. Largest wave ever surfed by a woman by Brazilian Maya Guanera, riding a 73.5 feet, 22.4 meter wave at Nazaré in Portugal. Also February the 11th. We need to get a fund started to get Emma a stand for her phone.
That wave is freaking huge. So they measure the height of a wave from the back of the wave, not the actual face. So the face would have been
ridiculously
big. Like, I remember growing up with a buddy and I, we used to go off and get our Escalade boogie boards and do like the try and ride the king tides, and they used to be like 8 foot or 10 foot, and some of the faces were pretty big and scary. Like, that would just how does someone do that? Like, that would just like that'd freak me out.
She
Like,
has some gigantic sized lady nuts, obviously. Holy shit.
I get 5 feet and I'm packing.
Yeah, I'd be bailing once I'm above anything that's above my own height, and that's like 5'11", 6 foot on a good day. So I would be bailing the fuck out anything taller than that. Like, no doubt about it. And gee, what? Like, half of this shit I didn't even hear about on the news, but this is so dark. Fire in US run orphanage kills 15 children near Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Like, where's that shit on the news, man? That's fucked. January 2020 was that. Why is that in February? That's some weird shit about planets. Scientists overturn current thought about how planets form, not by violent collision, but gentle clumping. I'm trying to skip all the like weird shit and get to the juicy bits. UEFA
plan. I think the reason why we didn't hear anything about Haiti is because when the earthquake happened back in 2010, 11, the British news covered a lot, and they were talking about the relief and everything, but a lot of British people complained about sort of seeing it all over the news. So I feel now that it's sort of come back to bite them in the arse. That's why we don't hear a lot about Haiti, because a lot of stuff has happened this year in Haiti, but we won't hear about it over here because the British what's the word, population just turned around and said we don't want to hear about that. It's not happening on our soil, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous how like sort of intolerant British people are. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not British, we don't care about it. Not my belief or Emma's, but most of our general public. UEFA places 2-year ban on Manchester City from European club competition for committing serious breaches of club licensing and financial fair play. Basically, buying football or soccer for anyone in Canada or America. More than 800,000 people displaced from their homes in northwestern Syria amid assault by Syrian pro-government forces on last rebel stronghold. That's February 14th. Good Valentine's Day, that. Yeah, you're getting kicked out your house, mate. No fucking candlelit dinner for you.
Give us two.
At least they got a nice view of the stars, though, when the roof got bombed. Hole in the ceiling. We had to just get a little humour in there. It's been a bit depressing, you know. Nobody report me for that, please.
Finish with February, yeah, that's the worst fucking part.
Yeah, I don't even know where I'm up to.
February 15th.
15th. Starts, yeah, Beijing going into lockdown.
Oh, yeah, Beijing orders people returning to the city after Lunar New Year holiday to self-quarantine for 14 days to prevent the spread of COVID-19. What a good job they did there, yeah. That really works, didn't it? February 16th, America evacuates 400 citizens from coronavirus-infected cruise ship Diamond Princess, quarantined in Yokohama Port, Japan. I remember that, actually. I did see that on the news. NBA All-Star Game. Not something I remember. I don't watch a lot of basketball. February 16th, ghost ship cargo vessel MV Alta washed up on the Irish coast near Ballycotton by Storm Dennis after drifting across the Atlantic from Bermuda. Dude.
I remember that, and it's only because I love weird shit like that.
Anything to do with the Bermuda Triangle freaks me the fuck out. Like, I've never flown on a plane or been on a ferry in my life. But if someone said to me, would you go across there on your first one for like 10 mil? I'd be like, hell no, because I might not be coming back to spend it. Like, fuck no.
Yeah, the interesting about this one, from memory, is it was lost at sea for a long time. Like, a very long time, like well over 12 months. And it managed to go completely undetected. But they managed to track it of how, like, through like the tides. And like it went across some pretty busy like shipping channels and got missed completely and then just turned up.
What if you get 10 million alien money?
Yeah.
So when you get taken to the triangle, you're rich. I'm rich. Right. What is your currency, alien? Bitcoin. Jesus Christ. We're up to February 17th. India's Supreme Court grants equal rights to women in the armed forces. India's still a very backwards country, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I might get people offended by saying that, but just the way it is. February 17th, General Motors announces it's retiring the Holden brand from Australasia. Don't really care about that. Ed, you might a little.
The first car that I ever owned was a VH Commodore Holden.
Ed was crying into his pillow that day.
That I bought for $1,500. That I got. My mum was a teacher at a school, like a little country town school. The mechanic did the roadworthy, even though it had illegal tires. I think I had it for about 6 months. Got really drunk one night and managed to do $3,000 damage to it. And walked off without a scratch on me.
Jesus Christ.
Drink and drive, you're a bloody idiot. If you make it home, you're a bloody legend.
You're crazy, dude.
Yeah, I still remember that. It was a good one. How I managed to cause that much damage to it and walk away without a scratch on me, I don't know. But anyway.
February 17th, Amazon boss Jeff Bezos pledges $10 billion to help fight climate change. So I don't know what it is about Jeff Bezos. Like, obviously, he's probably like the richest man in the world. He fucking freaks me out. Like,
he's a lizard man.
Yeah, that's what, like, I've never believed in that conspiracy theory till I looked at him.
No,
like,
he's a lizard man.
He just looks reptilian as fuck, like Mark Zuckerberg as well. He looks like really reptilian.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like it.
They're both aliens. That's why they're so rich. They came here with their cryptocurrency.
Yeah, you look at Jeff Bezos and you look at Zuckerberg, and they just look like they've got the personality of a wet rag.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen that picture of that guy? And it's like, have you seen this man in your dream? And apparently, like, thousands of people have seen this person in their dream.
Yeah.
That's what those two look like. Like, they look like that. Like, they look like an AI's, like, automated them. Like, not naturally born.
Dream.
Excuse me. This is just a learn about the Brit Awards. Someone You Loved is Song of the Year by Lewis Capaldi. Quite depressing song, to be honest, in my opinion.
Fat tune.
Boy Scouts of America files for bankruptcy amid hundreds of sexual abuse lawsuits, suspending those claims. Oof.
Doesn't surprise me that they've been there was hundreds of sexual abuse lawsuits, but didn't think they wanted.
They put their hand in the wrong cookie jar. Let's just say that.
They put their hand in the wrong freaking pocket.
They were selling more than cookies. They're out on the corner selling ass at 6 years old.
Yeah.
But anyways, more fucking locusts. February 18th. February 19th, German gunman opens fire in a bar in Hanau, Germany, killing 9 in a racially motivated attack.
I remember.
That is something I did actually see on the news, yeah. But that's because it's Germany, it's like Europe, so we're going to get that. February 20, Bank of England, new £20 note with a painter. JMW Turner released. I'm British and I still don't know who that is. Replacing earlier one with economist Adam Smith. Cristiano Ronaldo making his 1,000th appearance. President Moon Jae-in puts South Korea on high alert, empowering the government to lock down cities after 602 cases of coronavirus reported, with 6 deaths on February the 23rd. Oh god, we're getting into like Chinese Communist Party stuff now.
It's all going downhill from
China's supreme leader. Everyone else like Prime Minister, President, you know, First Lady or whatever. Supreme leader.
I wonder how they
Xi Jinping describes the country's coronavirus outbreak as the China's largest health emergency since 1949. Oh, here we go, another juicy one. We've got February 24th. Former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein found guilty of rape and criminal sexual assault act in landmark case that ignited the hashtag #MeToo movement. I mean, we're going to get deeper into Weinstein as the year goes on, but that guy, he's definitely one of the lizard people. Freaky as fuck. Don't like him. February 20... Malaysia had a 94-year-old Prime Minister, and he resigns only to be reinstated later in the day as interim Prime Minister. He resigned and then got the interim job. What the fuck? Event of interest, February 24th. US President Donald Trump begins a 2-day trip to India, meeting Indian PM Narendra Modi, I think that says.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to keep looking through for the good bits. 147 murders occurred during a 5-day police strike in Ceará, Brazil, despite army patrolling the streets, according to authorities. February 25th. African-American Ahmaud Arbery shot to death after being chased down by 2 white men in Brunswick, Georgia. Video of the killing emerges in May, prompting arrests. And I'm guessing that is going to tie in with all like the George Floyd and the Breonna Taylor stuff later in the year. I'm hoping when we get to that bit.
Fuck, we're still gonna get through that.
There's a lot of stuff that has gone on this year. It's fucked. Biggest cosmic explosion ever detected from a supermassive black hole, February 27th. COVID-19. Dow Jones Index suffers its biggest points fall in history, closing down 1.190.95 in New York amid concerns about coronavirus. US and Taliban signed deal to end 18-year war in Afghanistan. In Doha, Qatar, US and NATO allies will withdraw their troops after 14 months if deal is kept. That's quite a big thing. Who else have we got here? Famous deaths.
Kirk Douglas was in February.
Yeah.
Yep. American actor Kirk Douglas, gunfight at the OK in Coral, dies at 103 on February the 5th. Holy shit.
He didn't look 103 when he died, though.
No, man, that's some fucking age to live to. Mickey Wright, American golfer. I personally do not know who that is.
Caroline Flack.
Caroline Flack, yeah, that's nuts. Pop Smoke.
Yeah.
Look through. I'm trying not to miss anyone important because it doesn't highlight them all. Jesus, Pop Smoke was February. That's crazy.
It's mad to think that Caroline Flack died in February.
Of suicide as well. That's nuts. We are now into March. It has taken us an hour and 15 to get to March. March 1st, Turkey launches major offensive against Syrian government in northern Syria after 36 Turkish soldiers killed in the air and artillery strikes 3 days later. March 2nd, Amy Klobuchar drops out of the US Democratic presidential race and endorses Joe Biden. Now we're getting to the good bits. March 2nd, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan cannot pronounce his name for toffee. He says Turkey can no longer force 2016 deal with EU to stop migrants entering Europe, warns millions may try. And everyone in England lost their shit about that. March 2nd, American rap group Public Enemy part ways with Flavor Flav after 35 years over playing for free at a Bernie Sanders rally.
Oh, Flavor Flav.
Yep. March 2nd, Russian President Vladimir Putin proposes constitutional amendment banning gay marriage. Jesus Christ, we said fucking Russia was underdeveloped.
Fucking lizard, man.
Yeah, I mean, we said India was fucking behind the times. Jesus Christ. March 3rd, powerful storm producing multiple tornadoes rips through central Tennessee, killing at least 25. Iran releases 54,000 people from prison to avoid the spread of coronavirus as country spreads 77 deaths and 2,300 cases, including 24 MPs. World Bank, March 3rd still. World Bank pledges 12 million in emergency aid for developing countries dealing with coronavirus. Apparently, March 3rd, UK had its wettest February since records began in 1862. We're getting up to what Uni mentioned now. March 3rd, last Ebola patient discharged from hospital in Beni, DR Congo, raising hopes the outbreak is at an end in the country after 2,300 deaths. 2,300 deaths from Ebola, that's crazy.
Bonkers.
Scroll down, Super Tuesday, biggest voting day for Democrats selecting their presidential candidate revives Joe Biden's campaign.
Is it back?
He wins.
It's gone all funky.
Huh? I can hear you now. He wins 9 states while Bernie Sanders wins 4, including California. Emma, we could hear you there for a moment. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Is it back?
Yeah, it's back now, yeah. I think Emma's having some connection issues.
Yeah, it's going all wonky. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, but it's gone all fucky.
If you leave the call and jump back in, it should just fix it and fix the cameras. It shouldn't cause a problem. I hope. I don't know if you can hear me. Hold on, I will let her know that. I think she's already done. Just scrolling through. Where are we up to? Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte announces all sport in Italy will be played behind closed doors for at least a month, instead of locking everything down like he should have. March 5th, US Senator Elizabeth Warren drops out of the Democratic presidential race. Emma, did you leave in the call fix it?
Yeah.
Sweet. Russia. Ooh, someone's calling my phone. It's really annoying me. America we're up to March 8th, by the way. America registers 521 cases of COVID-19 with 21 deaths across 33 states. And that's in March. Italy announces it's locking down the whole country due to a spike in coronavirus cases with 10,040 cases and 630 deaths. Right as Italy announced that, someone who I was working with before we all started getting furlough pay just came back off of holiday from Italy. And everyone at work was like, stay the fuck away from me. Like, nobody wanted to be near her at all. It's like, get the fuck away from me. We don't want COVID. Crazy shit. March 10th, 3 months into the COVID-19 epidemic, Chinese President Xi Jinping finally travels to Wuhan, epicenter of the outbreak, as the rate of daily infections declines in China falls to 19 new cases and 17 deaths. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo deploys the National Guard to the New Rochelle after a 1 mile radius. National Guard? What the fuck? When did that happen in America?
How's the one before?
National Guard has been on American soil a lot.
I remember the one just up there. I remember hearing that the Russian lower house of parliament passes legislation to allow Vladimir Putin to hold office of president for life.
For life?
For life. I remember that. I remember hearing that. I'm like, the fuck is that about? That is freaking Burko.
No, that's nuts, dude. I missed that.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, really? Like, that is completely...
This is a guy that's like trying to oppose gay marriage and he wants to be Prime Minister for life.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
March 11th, Harvey Weinstein is sentenced to 23 years in prison for a criminal sex act and rape in New York.
Should have got more.
Yeah, he should. I mean, he's going to die in prison, hopefully. I mean, he will die in prison.
I hope he doesn't do 23 years. I hope he does about 10 and ends up with a freaking exercise bike freaking through his head.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only reasonable option for rapists and paedophiles. And obviously child killers and...
he ends up with a barbell through the side of his face.
March 12th, US President Trump bans travel with 26 European countries, though the UK... Not the UK, due to the coronavirus. UK and Ireland added a day later. Oh, here we go, here we go. We're up to the big boy now. March 12th, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson says the UK is facing the worst public health crisis for a generation. Up to 10,000 people may already be infected with COVID-19. Yeah, you fucking idiot. You got invited to like 5 fucking meetings to address it months before. And it took you till March to announce it, you pleb.
Did Boris Johnson get like grade 6 of and then realize forget how to like dress himself? And
I think so. I mean, his hair's pretty diabolical in its own right.
Dead set looks like a freaking 10-year-old private school boy that just
never grew up,
just didn't work out how to dress himself properly. Just used to let him go out and
just looking like that.
Yeah, because he seriously needs to spend a bit of time to brush it, like at least 2 minutes in front of the mirror.
What? Hair.
How many times does he go to his barber's though, and they let him walk out the door like that every time?
What would you like done, sir? Can I grab 2 centimeters off the left, 1 centimeter off the half a centimeter off the front and like 3 centimeters off the back. It's kind of just
fucked is the best word for it.
He looks
His
like a
barber's-
Muppet. He looks like a fucking Muppet.
NHL announces the pausing of the 2019-20 season due to the pandemic. Commissioner Gary Bettman, hopeful the postponement would not affect the Stanley Cup playoffs. How wrong was he? US President Donald Trump declares a national emergency, freeing up $50 billion to fight the coronavirus. And everyone got a grand total of $1,200 each, and like a further $600 this month, I think, which is pretty fucked. March 13th, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates steps down from the company's board to focus on philanthropic, if I've even said it right that time, activities. I can't English today.
Philanthropic.
That's the one. Thank you.
He's a lizard man.
Bill Gates, he's another he's another lizard man. I just realised what you said for sure. I don't believe he's he's gonna put a chip in us with the vaccine. Like, that shit's crazy though.
Who said? I remember that day and I fucking laughed.
March 13th, we are getting into like the Black Lives Matter movement here. I'm waiting for it to all like tie in together because it mentioned earlier. African American Breonna Taylor shot and killed by police officers executing a no-knock warrant on her flat with a battering ram in Louisville, Kentucky. That shit is fucked. Like, so fucked.
Didn't realize that she was shot after like the execution of a no-knock warrant.
Yep.
That's just
and she came out with her hands up as well, which is even worse.
And then her partner was the one that was arrested because he protected their home.
Yeah.
By rights, he's allowed to have a gun, and he exercised his right. And yeah, he's now in prison because he didn't even hit any of them, but he fired at them.
Yeah.
Yet they her 8 times while she was laying on the couch, sleep.
What do you expect if you barge into someone's house, regardless
without a warrant as well?
Yeah.
If someone busted through my front door right now and I had a shotgun next to me, the first thing that I'd do would pick it up and start shooting at the door, regardless of who it was. Like, natural instinct would be to protect yourself. Like,
you see, for me, like with all that, I try to stay not impartial, but I do try to see both sides of a story. But there's no seeing both sides of that. 8 bullets, like,
and that's it. If they've got an issue with Brianna or a brother or whoever else in the house with them, you knock on the door. You do the whole kind of what cops should do: knock on the door. We're from the Louisville freaking police department. We've got a few questions.
Yeah, assess the situation first.
And like, if cops do that, like, you go, okay, yeah, no worries, too easy. You kind of you're going to get a lot more cooperation, but yeah,
it sounded like they just went straight for guns on that.
Yeah, they went straight in for that one, and it turned out freaking horrifically. Like, that should never have happened.
8 shots is excessive as well. Way too excessive.
Extremely.
The court case was in, when was it? Last month or the month before? And the police officers that shot her, murdered her, they got away with it. And it's just like, how many more of these stories are we going to see throughout this year? There's going to be a lot.
Yeah,
as we're going along.
I mean, obviously we're getting up to George Floyd. That's more recent, but that's also a thing. Like I said, when I like see, sort of like black Lives Matter and police brutality, I very much like try to read into it with an open mind more than, because with the internet age, it's very easy for a story to be twisted one way or another.
It's extremely easy to clickbait and to clip certain
parts out of what
sections.
you want people to see, yeah. But
Exactly.
with this one,
like
there's no justification for that. I mean,
and it's like, no, over here, like a lot of people, especially on Facebook, were talking about how George Floyd was a drug dealer and how Breonna Taylor was a drug dealer. And it's just like, how do you know from the next person? I mean, Breonna Taylor by trade was an EMT. She was a paramedic. And they literally took her life with no care in the world. And the same thing with George Floyd, like, no matter, the thing is, police, even if you're guilty, should not kill guilty people. That's the be all end all of it. But there's no I'm in an RN about what happened with George Floyd. Like, the police officer knelt on his neck and murdered him.
I mean, that's the cold hard facts of it. Even if, I mean, obviously we're tracking a bit ahead here because that comes in like the following months, but like, even if a person's guilty, you don't do that for 9 minutes, especially when the person's saying they can't breathe. Like, it's common sense.
And there's no there's no kind of there's no evidence of him resisting.
Yeah, exactly. Even in that video, there's like, he pretty much followed everything that they said. I mean, he got a bit aggravated, but I think anyone kind of gets like that if you felt like you were being stopped for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, there would have been some moments at the beginning where it would have been a little bit kind of physical, but I mean that's gonna happen. Like, there's a lot of in Australia we see a lot of deaths in custody with Aboriginals, and there's quite a few times that similar stuff happens in Australia, but it's a very you always look at the first couple of minutes, and it's always very confrontational between the police and the Aboriginals, and it's a lot of the younger Aboriginals, and it's kind of generational as well. For an Australian relationship between between Aboriginals and authority figures, which, I mean, it dates back since for the past 200 years since colonization of Australia. So there's a kind of a lot of, which would be very similar to, there'll be a few parallels between what we see in Australia and between the African Americans and the police forces. There'd be a lot of hostilities, which is between authority figures and I'm not going to elaborate. You use that term, use the S word. They were kind of, because it's I don't want to give power to it, but anyway,
yeah, it's a slur. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's used as a
so like, it's still quite shocking that, like, even now, like, it's shocking that it's 2020 still.
Exactly, and people
to sum it all up.
But going on with March, I'm still looking for a good bit. Feel like there's like so much about COVID.
Yeah.
Like, it's all just COVID. It's a bit crazy.
March 17th?
March 18th?
I was going to say, I love the Golden Raspberry Film Awards, the Razzies. And I never saw that, but that looked shit. That looked really bad.
Oh,
they edited out all the assholes.
That looked so bad.
Oh dear.
Fucking as a fat cat, Lord.
Oh God, he got ripped for that movie as well. So hard.
It's awful.
There's agreement of interest, March 18th. US President Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau agree to close the US-Canada border, the world's longest to non-essential travel, to curb COVID-19.
Yeah, my God. I'm fighting with this phone. My God.
Tom Brady leaving New England Patriots, go to Tampa Bay on March the 20th.
And apparently he's having a really bad season at Tampa Bay as well.
I can imagine.
He annoys me.
Tom Brady annoys you. Why?
Oh, he's just one of those sports stars who is just
up himself.
Yeah, like he's got the weird diet and like the supermodel wife and like the quintessential just like jock. Like his name should be Chad.
Chad Brady, yeah.
It's just that much of a like that's just man. It just oh man. 2 year $50 million guaranteed.
I probably skipped a lot here, but it's all just like COVID related.
Yeah.
Smoke from fires killed more people than the fires, 417 versus 33, according to a new study published in Medical Journal of Australia, March 20th.
Yeah, I remember flying into Sydney this time last year when it was like the height of the bushfires, and like some of the like I've flown over a few bushfires over the years, but like some of the smoke out of the bushfires was like super thick, and that doesn't surprise me. And it just lingered around Sydney for when I got there. Like a lot of it had gone, but it lingered in Sydney.
I bet you could like smell it, and like when you were breathing in as well.
Yeah,
just like polluting the air.
Yeah, it was super thick, and it was just, and it was yeah. So it didn't hang around just for a couple of hours. It hung around for weeks on end.
I mean, for me, it was like the pictures of all the dead animals that like fucked me. Like looking at that, I was like, "Holy shit, that's brutal." Like just seeing like kangaroos, koalas, all sorts of shit, just like melted on the floor, basically. That's the pictures that got me, and that like firefighter feeding the koala. Like he gave it that bottle of water. I was like, "Holy fuck, man, that's brutal."
Yeah.
That's actually quite a big one there. Japan's Prime Minister announces postponement of Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games till the summer of 2021. I actually forgot the Olympics were supposed to be this year.
Yeah. That was huge.
Prince Charles
just looking through March 23rd, it's fucking wild.
Yeah,
Jesus.
First 100,000 cases took 67 days. European nations extend and strengthen their lockdowns. New York confirmed as a center of coronavirus pandemic. Jesus, yeah, 23rd is pretty fucking nuts. Prince Charles.
My birthday brought the Judgment Day.
Judgment Day on your birthday?
Fuck. I am the Antichrist after all.
Those are facts. Prince Charles tests positive for COVID-19.
Old Dumbo.
Charles, he was definitely nonce in it as well, in my opinion.
I don't understand. Philip and Charles are still alive, honestly. Fucking Philip looks like literally the Crypt Keeper.
He does, doesn't he? It's like when is Philip and old Liz gonna freaking
Finally croak it.
It's
Well, it's
like
Philip got into a car crash earlier this year, and it's just like any other normal person would have died, but he is literally immortal. I mean, I wouldn't want to live my life looking like that, but
death. It's like just
that,
want to see him like just with the black robe. I just see him just his whole feel.
You've got
like he could get shot, get the fucking bullet out.
I actually don't think he can die.
Nah, we'll
He's
all
immortal.
be like, this man will still be alive.
March 27th, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson announces he has contracted the coronavirus and that he will continue to lead the country thanks to the wizardry of modern technology while in self-isolation. What a fucking pleb.
Thanks to the wizardry of modern technology.
I firmly believe he didn't have COVID. I really do. I think you're right.
This man literally, like, in the midst of everything, they were saying that, you know, all these people were on the brink of death and people were dying, and it was a sympathy ploy. That's all it was.
I think
Just
he faked it to kind of make him seem like, I can't think of a better word here, but like more relatable. Like people can have compassion for him in that way, like relate to him and feel his pain. I definitely think that was what he was doing there.
Yeah.
March 29th, US infectious disease expert Anthony Fauci, I think that's how you say his name, or Fauci, warns America may see between 100,000 and 200,000 deaths from COVID-19. Russian city Moscow begins a citywide lockdown after 4 hours' notice due to the coronavirus. That's fucked. 3 out of 4 Americans now ordered to stay at home due to the pandemic. British pensioner Robert Wheaton becomes the world's oldest man at 112 years old. Jesus.
I'd get to if I get to like 75, 80, I'd be fucking happy.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I'd be
if
like,
I
as my old man used to say, goes, all I want to do when I'm ready to cuck it, I just want one of you kids to drive me out to the middle of fucking nowhere, kick me out of the car and drive off. Like that'll be me. Like 80 years old. They'll be like, yeah, I'm happy, I'm done. After I get to 80, I don't want someone wiping my ass for me.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I'll be like, yeah, I'm 80. I would have had kids, seen me grandkids for a couple of years, and then I'd be like, I'm out. I'm done.
Just pop me out, yeah. Jack Welch, CEO of General Electric, dies of renal failure at 84. Henry Richard, don't know who that is because I don't watch hockey. Big Steak and Duo cursing me in the chat right now. Max von Sydow, I know who that is. He's in Game of Thrones.
that was sad.
Dies at 90. That was pretty sad, yeah. I'm just looking through because they don't have actually all the important ones here. Breonna Taylor again.
Kenny Rogers.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Roger Mayweather. I know of him. Obviously, he's related to the other famous Mayweathers in boxing. Betty Williams. I'm just scrolling through. Fucking hell, a lot of deaths in March. Bill Withers died in March.
Yeah.
Jesus. 81 years old.
Far out.
Papa Diouf. Died from COVID-19 at 68. Jesus Christ. He was a football player.
Recently. Didn't think it was in March.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember it being more recent.
This year all just feels like it's like blurred into one, right? It's fucked up.
Are you thinking about the guy that did Stand By Me? His name Ted. Can't think of
Benny
his name.
King.
Yeah, Benny King.
No.
I thought he
Bill Withers is Ain't No Sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and me.
No, I can't remember.
April 1st, All England Lawn Tennis Club cancels Wimbledon for the first time since World War II because of COVID.
Honestly, thank fuck.
Yeah.
For me, like, I live quite close to where have Wimbledon, and it's a fucking nightmare to get.
If I'm gonna get risk getting COVID for anything, it's not gonna be tennis. I do not give a fuck about tennis at all. Donald Trump says US strategic national stockpile is almost depleted amid widespread shortages of medical equipment to fight COVID-19. We're at April 2nd now. Worldwide cases past 1 million, with 1,002,159 cases and 51,485 deaths reported. Brazilian.
I think April 2nd is actually quite important as well. Record 6.6 million Americans filed claims for unemployment in last week, according to the US Department of Labor. 10 million over 2 weeks. That's a massive.
That's a lot, yeah.
Thing.
And Trump claims he did the most for employment rates in America.
And when you think about it, this is April, and only now they're still talking about only giving Americans $600 stimulus check.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Government.
And Trump actually tried to hold them hostage with that, saying if he doesn't get re-elected, he won't sign it as well. The filthy bastard.
I don't understand how he hasn't been assassinated. I really don't.
FCC, that wasn't me. Yo, Nava, what's good, dude? How are you doing, man? Spain death toll passes 10,000 as it posts a record single-day rise of 950 deaths. This is April 2nd. 20 Prince Charles. Nightingale's Hospital. Oh, that's the trash hospital that we barely ended up using. Prince Charles opened that. Yeah, Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of when I saw it in the Excel spreadsheet center.
It actually came out that a lot of our COVID cases were being kept in an Excel spreadsheet here in England.
Oh, really?
It's fucked, yeah. Uni, I've looked a little bit into that and like Pizzagate and shit like that. 27 people swept off of a ferry and feared dead in Solomon Islands during Cyclone Harold. What? British monarch Queen Elizabeth II makes an address to the nation. We will meet again for only the 5th time in her 66-year reign. What?
So what the fuck
I feel like she's also a living person.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson admitted to hospital suffering from coronavirus, apparently. Yeah, we don't believe that, mate.
He had a cough. He had the flu.
Japanese Prime Minister just breathed in what?
Whilst he was drinking. That's
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Yeah. He got a lung full of air while he was sipping down his tea.
I got corona.
Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, I'm going to say, or Abe, announces state of emergency in 7 prefectures and nearly 1 trillion stimulus package as COVID-19 cases climb. That's how you do it, Trumpy. Holy shit. Nadia, a tiger at the Bronze Zoo, tests positive for COVID-19. First known case of human-to-cat transmission. What the fuck? Speaking of tigers, how is the Tiger King not on here? That is like the greatest thing to come out of 2020.
I think that's later.
I couldn't watch it.
Tiger King's March. It came out in March. I looked before we did this. I was talking to Jazz. I was like, holy shit, the Tiger King was like phenomenal. Like, what a show. And then I looked and it was like March time. April 8th, Bernie Sanders drops out of the Democratic race for US president. Surprise, surprise.
It's a fucking shame.
He does it for the people with his 6 houses and 2 new books out this year. He's not trying to promote them at all. Bernie's a man of the people, I swear.
Look at him. He looks like a freaking wave.
World Trade Organization predicts a drop in global trade greater than 2008 financial crisis. Brazil is the first country in the southern hemisphere to report more than 1,000 deaths from coronavirus cases, with 1,056 deaths and 19,638 cases. OPEC and major oil companies agreed to the largest ever drop in production to stabilize world prices. The Pope delivers his Easter message. Okay. Italian tenor Andrea Bocelli sings a special Easter concert in the deserted Milan Cathedral accompanied by an organist. They better have been socially distanced.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Barack Obama endorses his former vice president, Joe Biden, for president. Of course he does, man. They were like that when them two were like in charge.
They were best buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
As if he endorsed
Michelle used to get jealous.
PM Narendra Modi. Yeah, there's like memes of them being like lovers and shit, isn't there?
Yeah, some of the memes of when Obama was leaving, of like what Biden was like doing, like setting up Trump for all the shit. Yeah, like changing all the light bulbs to orange, so that Trump had more of an orange glow.
Jesus.
He's not actually orange. Biden just changed all the light bulbs.
Yeah.
US president freezes funding for the World Health Organization pending a review for mistakes in handling the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic and being China-centric, prompting international criticism. South Korea is the first country to hold a general election under the COVID-19 coronavirus. President Moon Jae-in's ruling Democratic Party wins in a landslide. Revised death count for New York makes the city's per capita death rate higher than Italy at 10,367. US's deadliest day, April 15th, during the pandemic, with 2,752 deaths reported.
April 16th, 22 million Americans have filed for unemployment in 4 weeks.
Jesus Christ.
Put that into context. Australia's population is like 26 or 27 million.
I don't know what the UK's is. Hold on.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole of Australia unemployed.
The UK population is 66.65 million. Jesus Christ.
We're all just packed into this tiny little island.
Yeah. Right, where have I gone? Nationwide state of emergency declared in Japan till the 6th of May. Dude, this shit is fucked. Music concert, Together at Home concert for coronavirus aid, curated by Lady Gaga and streamed worldwide. Canada's worst modern mass shooting as a gunman kills 18 people, including a Royal Canadian Mounted Police officer across Nova Scotia. I actually remember seeing that on the news.
Yeah,
that is one I did see.
Was that different to the two dudes that kind of that start off in Virginia and kind of like tracked all the way up through Canada?
I think that is a different case.
I think so.
Yeah, it's a different one. Yeah, but yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah, that freaking that one. That was intense. I forgot that happened this year.
UK coronavirus death toll reaches 16,060, and that's in hospitals only, not counting care homes or other like hotspots for it, as the Sunday Times criticises Boris Johnson's government's response, saying they sleepwalked into a disaster. Oof. Turkey passes Iran to become the Middle Eastern country with the most cases, with 86,306 infections. Iran continues to have the most deaths. Price of US oil turns negative for the first time in history. Jesus. West Texas Intermediate, the benchmark of US oil falls as low as -$37 for a barrel. So if you bought oil then, you're probably fucking minted now. The last 3 cruise ships still afloat around the world finally docked at the ports of Marseille, Barcelona and Los Angeles. April 21st, US President Donald Trump announces a new 60-day ban on most green cards. Oof.
It's all just about Jesus.
Yeah, it is. At least 25,000 extra people across 11 countries have died during coronavirus that were not previously counted according to new mortality figures. April 21st.
You know what this is like? This is like 3 people sitting down reading just the headlines.
Yep.
It's quite funny.
And now, for the pools, West Ham
seeing
2.
What people pick up on.
Oh, the cameras have gone a bit funny. I think we've lost Emma.
Yeah, well, Emma.
Hopefully when she joins back in, it'll fix it. It's fixed it. That's good. German Chancellor Angela Merkel warns this is not the end phase, but still just the beginning. She sounds like a fucking, like, anime villain.
She sounds like she should be. She sounds like she should be in the Smurfs.
It's so interesting. Like having a German mother, and then sort of like being part German myself. It's interesting to see the other side of it. Like my mum can't stand Angela Merkel because of everything that she's done. Sort of being so like blasé about everything.
We've lost cameras here. It's gone all crazy, man. Don't know why. How do I fix this shit? I think that's fixed it. Still lagging on Emma. What's going on?
Mine's been lagging this whole time.
Which one's it?
Oh, it's just my...
Hold on, let me refresh it and that should fix it. That has not fixed it. Okay.
That has done nothing.
That's just put a picture of Angela Merkel and ruined Ed's capture somewhere. Feels bad. Fuck off, Angela. No one cares. Go away. Look, there she is. Go away. The window capture's just gone a bit funny here, chat. I'm going to fix it. Fixing it on the fly. Dude. Are you guys still in the call? I can hear you, yeah?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay, Ed's is fine. It's just mine and Emma's that's gone fucking haywire.
Chat.
This is Ed's podcast now. He's taking over.
Yeah.
We had Angela Merkel on the screen there for a moment.
It doesn't have this. I don't have a catchy podcast name though. The FOZCAST.
We'll have to think of one.
I'll come up with one, but I think that the FOZCAST is one of those names you come up with, which is freaking legitimately good.
It's just lucky that my name rhymes with the typical slogan.
Yeah, it's like, FOZCAST. Yep, sweet, works, done.
Right, Emma's back in place. OBS problems, yeah, Nava. It's a bit brutal when things go wrong. Discord's not the most like friendly thing to try and capture either, I'm not gonna lie. But fuck using Zoom, even if I'm in the middle of a pandemic. Zoom can fuck off. Unless they want to sponsor the podcast, then they can actually come here all they like.
They will use it all the time.
Yeah, we'll
Just show me
use
that
Zoom as much as you
cash
like.
money. Just show us that cash money.
Zoom, it's going to cost you $500,000 to buy this podcast out. Just saying. There we go, it's fixed. Sorry for anyone that's here and had to deal with that, or if you've made it 2-hour mark on YouTube.
I'm loving using Zoom.
Sorry we had to break the cameras there. We're 2 hours in and we're up to April. Holy fuck. Longest podcast ever?
I've got to go shopping again after this.
Oh, God. I've missed a call from my doctor. God knows who else. Just like crazy. Vladimir Putin warns Russia has not yet reached the peak of coronavirus infections with 93,000 recorded cases and 867 deaths. I'm literally just trying to get through the like events of interest now because all the ones in between it are kind of like just COVID.
They're just COVID numbers.
Did we talk about Trump injecting bleach?
We're not using Zoom. We haven't talked about Trump injecting bleach into himself yet.
April 23rd, Trump suggests coronavirus might be treated by injecting disinfectant or UV lights into
April 23rd. For anyone who wants this website, by the way, it's this is the link for it in chat. It's called onthisday.com, and you can recap over this crazy year with us if you want to have a scroll through.
Where is it? I saw one before. Yeah, April 30 UK PM. Boris Johnson, your mate Boris, says Britain is past the peak of the coronavirus outbreak.
Yeah, well, he got that very, very wrong.
He's
This is slowly turning into a roast of Boris Johnson FOZCAST.
Pretty much the roast of Boris Johnson.
I will literally never understand how someone saw Boris Johnson. I mean, he was our Lord Mayor before he was our Prime Minister. I will never understand how someone looked at him, the way he looks, and went, yeah, he'll make a great Prime Minister. He could definitely run a country. The man can't brush his fucking hair. How is he supposed to run a country?
Who was so Barry Humphries had Dame Edna Everage as one of his pseudo characters, but he had, what was his name? It reminds me of Boris Johnson.
Country before hygiene, Francis said.
Francis.
That's in the what's his?
US President Donald Trump claimed coronavirus COVID-19 originated in the lab in Wuhan, while the Office of the Director of National Intelligence saying the virus is not man-made.
I love it that the rumor that went round for so long, I've already said it earlier, is that some dude bit into a bat and it gave us coronavirus. It's like, who is the fucking guy? Ozzy Osbourne.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Like crazy shit going on. I've gone on to May, by the way, because there wasn't really any deaths worth talking about in April.
Yeah.
I was going to say Sterling,
I was
going to say Sterling Moss is probably the only real big one that I really saw.
Yeah.
Ozzy did it before it was cool.
But I was going to say Boris Johnson looks like Sir Les Patterson.
He looks like a piece of gammon, and they've just put a piece of like a wig on his head. That's what he looks like. Someone's just a raw piece of gammon and just stuck a piece of hair on his head.
I can't remember what Muppet it was. It's gonna annoy me now, but it's the one that's orange and then he's got the blonde wig on his head. That's what he looks. going to annoy me now.
May the 1st, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announces ban on 1,500 types of assault-style weapons in response to the recent Nova Scotia shooting. May 1st, Elon Musk tweets saying Tesla's share price is too high and wipes $14 billion off the car maker's value. Holy fucking shit.
There you go.
Was Elon Musk smoking weed this year? Or was that last year on the Joe Rogan podcast? When Joe Rogan gave him like a fat blunt and the Tesla fucking share price went down like...
Oh, it might have been...
I feel like it was this year. I feel like it was recently.
Yeah.
May 3rd, investor Warren Buffett dumps his holdings in 4 major US airlines, saying the world has changed for aviation, reflecting an increasingly bleak outdoor look for the industry. May 3rd, Brazilian confirmed COVID-19 cases pass 100,000 with a death toll at 7,025. Countries in May 4th, countries in Europe begin cautious reopening of after COVID-19 lockdown. Italy restarts construction and takeaways. Germany opens schools. World leaders pledge $8 billion to research treatments and a vaccine for coronavirus, with the US and Russia not taking part. Typical US and Russia, eh? Don't contribute to any of it and take all the glory.
Yeah, blame everyone, do nothing about it, and then when it's we cured it.
UK becomes, this is May the 6th, by the way, UK becomes the first European country to report over 30,000 confirmed cases on May the 6th. Fucking nuts. This is all COVID stuff. UK economy heading for its worst crash in 300 years. Minus 14% since 1706, according to the Bank of England.
Gotta love that recession.
US father and son arrested for the murder of a Maud Arbery in Brunswick, Georgia, after video of the killing surfaces May 7th. Did they actually get jailed for that? Or did they get found not guilty?
The father did, I think. The son, oh God, I can't remember now. I think it was the son that got away with it, basically. But I think the father was did get
I guess they
jail time.
kind of took pity on the young kid. Like, didn't want to ruin his life or whatever. But at the end of the day, he fucking killed a man.
Throw him in a hole.
Exactly.
Gonna say, May 8th, 11-year-old Brazilian skateboarder.
I was just reading that as you said it.
Creates world record for first 1080-degree turn on vertical ramp.
Not even Tony Hawk's done that. Fucking 11-year-old kid.
Talented 11-year-old kid. Fuck you.
Them big ass send its.
That's a huge send it.
Russia's confirmed cases of...
in my swivel chair. Dude's doing 1080s on a skateboard.
Russia confirmed cases of COVID reach 232,000. Second highest in the world, a day after President Vladimir Putin eased the country's lockdown. Jesus. Militants storm a hospital and funeral in Kabul, Afghanistan, shooting an estimated 40 people dead, including new mothers and their babies. I wonder, like, if we'd have read through all of these and not skimmed through them and, like, count the number and, like, add up the number from deaths of, like, mass shootings, I wonder how many of those would be, like, how far, like, would it be till it caught up to COVID?
Yeah.
That'd be fucked. US coronavirus task force testifies to the Senate that the US is not out of the woods yet and the pandemic is not under control and risks surging cases if reopens too soon. Wuhan, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak, draws up plans to test all 11 million residents after it records a new What? So they found 6 cases, and now they're like, we're going to test all 11 million people in one city.
Fuck you
That's
all.
nuts. $118-year-old American department store, J.C. Penney. Never heard of it.
That's, yeah. Peasants.
That's massive.
Never
in
existed.
America.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Israel swears in new government led by both Benny Gantz and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Said his name wrong again, probably. After 510 days. That's like his third mention in here.
Yeah. Oh, Netanyahu.
Michael Jordan's autographed Air Nike Ones trainers from 1985 sell for a record $560,000 in an online auction. Jesus Christ.
That's a lot of cash for a pair of sneakers that's going to go into a box.
Mm-hmm.
May 18, Donald Trump confirms he's taking controversial drug hydrochloroquine, if I can speak, against COVID-19. Hydroxychloroquine. That is different.
Just doesn't sound good.
If it has like hydro and chloroquine in there, I'm not taking that shit. Hell no.
Chloride. Because the other thing that I got chloride is like chlorine or chloroform. That just doesn't sound fucking good at all.
It's marketed as a plequenil, and it's used to treat malaria, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and I don't know what that is. Porphyria cutanea.
Chris, we're at 2 hours 11 minutes, and we're up to May, and this is me trying to skip all the shit bits now.
So basically, it's for
malaria. China. Oh, that's actually a big one. China unveils a new national security legislation against Hong Kong in its annual legislative session. That's like when the second set of riots kicked off this year, isn't it?
Yeah, that was going to say that was when it all flared up again.
Oh, here we go. 2 big events here. British PM Boris Johnson refuses to sack his senior aide Dominic Cummings after it is revealed he broke the country's lockdown rules to drive across the country.
For childcare.
Dickhead blood.
He drove 6 hours for childcare.
Yeah. And apparently visited his parents, who are like 70-odd, to drop his kid on them, which our government said specifically, don't leave them with people over that age because they're the most vulnerable age group to it. Murder of interest, May 25. May 25th, should I say. Video of African-American George Floyd's arrest and murder while restrained in Minneapolis police custody shows he was pinned to the ground by police officer Derek Chauvin's knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, ignites widespread condemnation and nationwide protests. Now that shit.
That whole thing's, as we mentioned with Brianna's murder earlier, how wrong it is. What gets me about this particular case as well is the fact that they could not. It took after 8 minutes and 46 seconds, he was still not the cops did not have him in the back of the cop car.
Yeah, they didn't have him detained.
Any other arrest is like, dude, you're under arrest. You scuffle. If there's going to be a scuffle, let's say it goes on for 4 or 5 minutes. But by that stage, the dude's usually in the back of the cop car. This guy was still on the freaking ground, barely moving after 8 minutes 46 seconds.
Didn't it turn out that the cop that did it to him though knew him previously and had like a history with him?
Apparently they were previous employees with each other at a fast food restaurant years before, like 17 years before.
Oh, really?
They had a spat. I mean, this is all like, this isn't factual.
Like hearsay, it might be not be facts, yeah.
But they were sort of photographed together 17 years prior to this incident, which is why when they turned around and said that he was going to be charged with second-degree murder, it was just like, you know that he went there with intent to do exactly that. You don't lean on someone's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds and not
have the
mean
intent
it.
to kill someone. Yeah, for
You
sure.
know what's going to happen after kneeling on someone's neck, especially when they say they can't breathe. What do you think's going to happen?
Because that
Yeah.
hold that he was using as well, someone interviewed one of the training personnel that do all the kind of what is it, combat training for the cops, for the police departments. And that hold that the cop was doing was something they actually teach them not to do. Like, this is what you do not use this. You do not use this hold.
I mean, if you're gonna do that hold, the knee is supposed to like go like between the shoulder blades, not on the spine either. Like if you do that, you can crush someone's spine. Basically, like there's a spot you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, because the where he had his knee was a perfect example. If you do it there, they tell them not to put it there because that's.
I mean, he's essentially crushing the guy's windpipe for nearly 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And like Emma said, like full on, you know what your intention is if you're doing that to someone. A kid knows 100%. Not to do that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's
100%.
It's like a touchy subject because his murder for me is really fucked up, and I might get some hate for saying this, but what came after for me seemed really like counterintuitive. Like, they didn't go and burn. The first thing they didn't go and burn down was a police station or a courtroom or like a government building. They went into their own community and trashed their own community, and it's kind of like, well, what does that prove? You're just ruining the community for like your own people, like black people and people that live in there. You know, it's what came after that kind of threw me off. And I know people say, oh, well, violence is the only way to get them to pay attention. But the first thing they should have done is gone to a government building or a police station and burnt that fucker down. I mean, they did it eventually, but it took them like 4 days to do it.
No, like I disagree with that. Like when when everything sort of happened in the first few days, there was a actual photo taken of the police station that the police officers actually came from on fire. They burnt it down to the ground. But a lot of the people that were looting, a lot of people that were setting like placed on fire weren't actually the protesters that were protesting for the Black Lives Matter movement. It was people that were actually proven to be were hired by the police. There was a lot of people that were sort of finding it really suspicious that there were just piles of bricks on the side of the road, and there was a lot of people like documenting that. And then there was a lot of conspiracy around why they were in the middle of protest areas. But I think like even going back through history, like with the suffragettes and the women's rights and gay rights and Stonewall, like violence, you know, it's the voice of people that are being silenced. And that's what happens if you're constantly being silenced by people. It's going to cause anger. It's going to make you angry. So I don't blame people for being like, it's not a riot at all. Like what happened here in London when Mark Duggan was murdered by the police. You know, we had London riots here that were actually riots. They weren't protests. There was the
Mike's cut out a little. Hopefully that'll fix itself. I heard something there. Hopefully it'll fix itself. See, I knew this was going to be. Oh, my cam, we've all frozen.
At a freaking banging freaking point across as well.
Why does it do that? It's like capturing the wrong window, man. Right as we were getting like into a good debate there as well.
Yeah, exactly. It was getting good as when I was like, how convenient. Fuck off.
Fuck's sake, Discord, you piece of shit. Please don't do that, Discord.
It's gone all fucky.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to fix the cameras. Oh, it's fixed one.
There we go.
Nope, it's fucked them all. Okay. Thanks, Discord. Ed looks like a tie. What the fuck is going on here, man? This is twice in one session. I've got Boris or George Floyd down here, and I don't even know what else. Or J.K. Rowling. Let's not even get started on it. Maybe Zoom. Yeah, Zoom, if you want to sponsor the stream with your working software, feel free.
I love how Big State's got the trademark TM next to Zoom. Nice start.
See, I'm still hearing you in Discord.
I wonder who is sponsored by Zoom.
Where's Discord gone? Fucking playing, but what is it doing?
I think it's Bojo.
Dude, this is so bootleg, man. It's unreal.
Now Fozzy's Boris. Fucking look at him, dude.
Yeah, I'm Boris because I've got no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Needs to get his freaking business shirts from somewhere else other than the freaking Goodwill store.
Like, why is it so zoomed in now? Are you seeing this on stream? The cameras have gone all like fucked. You're Emma now, Ed. I'm sorry. We're mega zoomed in here. I don't know why. See, that's full screen. What is going on, Discord? Man. I'm going to have a brain hemorrhage before long with this shit. Sorry about this, chat, and whoever's still here on YouTube. If you've made it this far, salute you. Right, hopefully this should be easier to fix now. You know what? Chat, let's just get rid of all of these and restart fresh. Because something has evidently gone wrong.
This is why I'm glad Wright and I stopped doing Lost on Marbles. Purely so I didn't have to fuck around with the old window capture with the
It's annoying as well because I'll forget what time frame this is at. So when I go back to edit this out for YouTube, I'll have to watch through the whole fucking thing. Which I don't mind doing, but I'm like my own worst critic when it comes to... What the fuck you popped? Popped out the player to another window. No, I haven't, Discord. Sort your life out. What are you doing? Turn to the app.
I'll just put in a message into the chat for 2 hours 20 minutes was the Discord fuck out.
Thank you.
It's just
chat, I am so sorry about this. I'm trying to fix it, but it's having none of it, man. And we're only at May. And it did this right as we were getting into a good debate as well.
Yeah, right. Freaking bang on a freaking good one.
Right. Let's put this one down a little. We're getting there, chat. We're getting there. I'm sorry. You're both going to be a little zoomed in, I can't lie. But it is what it is. I'm just going to deal with it for now. Because... we're on, like, what I knew was going to be the touchiest subject to this anyways. Zoom, we need you to hook us up, man. Sort it out. Come on. Zoom sponsorship right now.
Sell out.
I'm gonna fucking post this clip all over Twitter.
Half
My
$500,000
words.
goes down to 499,000.
Yeah, we'll do 99
That's a
cent
one-time
discount.
deal for the FOZCAST.
Do it for a tenner and a Big Mac. Sorted.
Tenner and a Big Mac.
Behind the scenes, that's on my OnlyFans. There's a discount on it because it's Christmas right now. Top
I remember
1%.
your mate. I remember your mate started an OnlyFans.
Oh God, do I even want to know?
And I remember thinking to myself, this is when it first came out. And I looked, I'm like, what the fuck's OnlyFans? And I was going through, and it was like, it looks like it's for adult content. But this dude was stupid enough to think that it was like another Instagram. Like,
yeah,
he's got it so wrong.
2020 is actually the year of OnlyFans. OnlyFans is popping off with a fucking pandemic. Which is going to be half off, all of it. Right, we're back, we're good. I don't know what broke it. My Discord freaked out for a moment, but yeah.
But I'm gonna say my picture quality on his streams a lot better than what it was before.
We're up to May 25th, and we're talking about the murder of George Floyd. Without losing train of thought, Emma, we were talking. I said about the riots and how I think they were a bit like not silly for the cause, but I think like some of the things that they did, and then you were talking about why you disagreed.
Yeah, I don't know how much you heard of my whole last rant because my internet went fucky. But I was just saying like how I think protests need to happen, like as I said, throughout.
Yeah, I'm not
history.
disputing that, like at all. Yeah. I just think I don't know if it's like what the media showed of it, and it was like portrayed to look like they were sort of like stupid or like just hooligans not doing it for the right reason.
And that's exactly what it was like. Even because I stayed away from like news coverages because they were just showing sort of the backhanded view of it, like when they were standing outside of I can never remember her fucking name. She's the Los Angeles senator or mayor even, and they were standing outside her building and they were discussing like they wanted her to come out and actually talk to them like they were human beings rather than sort of sitting in her ivory tower. And it like I kept looking at Twitter and I was watching like all these people who are actually in there, like in the protests, and you could see like it was all peaceful, and then you had these people who were very clearly not there for the right reasons. They just wanted to get their sort of aggression out of the way, and this was the perfect what's the word, like cover up sort of thing. People were looking at that and thinking, oh, they're clearly a part of the riot, even though they weren't riots at all. Like it's all about what the generalized like population will see through news coverages, and then what you actually find from people who are actually in the scenes where they're happening. It's always going to be backwards with mainstream media. But yeah.
Do you think there is any like credible sources out there? Not like mainstream media, but I mean like maybe on the internet or like places to look where you will actually see both sides of it fairly? Is it possible for one like source to show you both sides reasonably?
I think
and not just one or the other?
Everything. No matter what you look at, like even something as small as fucking what shoelaces. You know, it's always going to be biased. Something is always going to
Like
sort of
nowadays, things are like sort of generalized to left and right. Is it possible
Yeah.
for one side to sort of be in the middle, or do you think like media
Especially
nowadays is leaned one way or the other?
when it comes to the UK, when it comes to America, absolutely not. It's literally just left and right. No centrist. I mean, it's more centrist in the UK than anything. But nowadays, like especially after Brexit, everyone that's right-winged is just coming out of the woodworks, and you can tell the media is sort of going that way to
cater to them people, like to get them as a target, or like like catering to that
exactly
target audience.
Yeah.
I think a lot of media sources kind of they play on people's cognitive biases, and
And
there's
sometimes
one.
cognitive ability as well. Like most
Yeah,
dumb
and
Yeah.
people are the fucking racist ones, or like
yeah, and
intolerant to.
there's one cognitive bias trait, like there. I mean, there's a myriad of them, but one of the. I remember having a discussion with an old boss a few years ago. It was like super smart, but cognitive biases was his jam. Freaking loved them. Loved everything about them because they're so far and wide. But one of them is, and a big one is, everyone has these cognitive biases where they will only read what they want to hear when it comes to media. So I could give you we can have a newspaper, go through what we've done to tonight is scrolling through the headlines, and we're kind of like skimming through, and Fozzie's picking up, he's picking up one, Emma's picking up another one, the financial picking up another one. Is that we will focus on whatever interests us and whatever supports our beliefs.
And that's how kind of like Donald Trump got such a big following.
Yeah, and that's
like he played to a certain group of people, right? Like a certain.
Exactly. So certain media outlets are going to write in a fashion to appeal to a certain audience. So they're going to tell one side of the story. Another one, other media sources are going to appeal and write their pieces to the other side, and to find essential pure facts up and line, which shouldn't appeal to one side or the other, is hard to find, because even when presenting the facts down the middle, is I'm not going to you say that I had a disagreement with Fozzie. I'm going to read that article, and I'm going to pick up I'm only going to pay attention to the facts that are going to support my argument, and he will only pick up on facts that support his, and there's going to be very few that are going to be down the middle, and that's a problem with media, is they're only going to show they're only going to show what caters for their audience, what they know is their audience. So you unfortunately you're never going to get the whole story, and never going to get the whole facts in one source. You're going to have to go through across a number of different sources,
a shit heap, basically.
a shit heap to get the full story of what's actually happening. That's why kind of over the past 12 months with the Black Lives Matters and with COVID, is I've steered clear. Purely the fact is because
you don't think it's possible to get a central, all
factual
point of view on it.
Like I want to be Switzerland. I want to be
in the middle somewhere,
and in middle somewhere, because it's good to offend the least amount of people, but at the same time I want to have my own view. But it's kind of like, how far do you go? And it's so like it's down to the point where you've almost got to be there to experience it firsthand. But At the same time, you're going to experience firsthand, and your memory's only going to remember like 3, 6, 12 months down the track, 2 years. Your memory's just going to be selective of what you're going to remember. So it's kind of, there's kind of sensitive subjects, especially with Black Lives Matters. There's a lot more conversation that needs to be happened, and unfortunately, it's taken a number of deaths to publicize deaths to happen, and also some pretty big protests and riots to occur for at least that like a proper conversation to happen. And it sucks that it's like lives and the amount of damage during a pandemic has had to happen, but
for us still probably not to be at a point where we've had a good conversation about it either.
Exactly, but I think if that type of that type of shit was going to happen,
it wouldn't be with Donald Trump in office as we're not going to have that conversation.
I'm not going to pass on like some of his comments on that shit. It's just like, yeah, and that's what kind of like adds to how
he added the fuel to the fire.
Yeah, he's added to it. It's these deaths, and the worst thing is like people have been locked in by this stage. What we're looking at May 26th, so people have been locked indoors for best part of 2 months, which never happened before. They've kind of like there's a lot of it's just weird times, and it's just compounded. And I said, if anything crazy like this was going to happen, it was going to happen in 2020, and it was going to freaking blow up. But I mean, conversations are happening. Like you still watch. Like I'm a big soccer fan, and I watch the Premier League. I watch Premier League every week, and you see the players still taking a knee. I watch a lot of F1. You see before the races, the drivers taking the knee. They all still talk about it. So the kind of the conversation starting. It's still got a long way to go. It's like they kind of like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matters. It's like, but give us more context. Give us more to where do we go now? It's kind of we've had all this crazy shit happen.
Do you think with Joe Biden coming in, like we're going a bit like towards politics here, which I was trying to avoid? Do you think with him coming in, especially with him being like the right-hand man to Barack Obama, that he is someone that can progress down the right road there for America?
I don't think it should be up to
a single person, yeah.
And a single person, especially a 70-year-old upper class white male. I think.
What about Kamala Harris though? Because apparently, even though she's like a person of color, she does a lot to kind of hurt like people of color in America.
I think it should. I think it should be. It's got to be. I think Biden might do something about it, but not knowing enough about American politics. But it's got to be someone who's closer to millennials and current generations who are going to be around for
relatable. A lot longer. You mean?
And relatable, because that's where you're going to get change. That's where you're going to go off, and you're going to make progress, because at least you can start making changes for future generations and steer them down the right path. It's kind of that baby boomers onwards. It's kind of, I think they're stuck in their ways a bit too much. I had a conversation with a dude I work with who's in his 60s, and he's religious, but he doesn't force his religion onto me. And we had a discussion last year about voting for same-sex marriages, and I said yes, I am, because my brother, and because it's the right thing to do, and it's because it's going to help people in the future. And he was like, I'm voting no, but that he goes, I'm voting no, but he goes, I'm only voting no because that's what I was in my generation. I was brought up to believe that was incorrect. And he goes, it's 60 years of the same thing being ground into him. And I think to make a change, we need leaders
and that generation to fuck off.
For a similar age in the generation who can, and I hate to fucking use this phrase because it's tied to Instagram fuckery, but influencers.
Yeah.
But you need we need a leader of our generation. And I don't think it'll come from a 70-year-old.
Not Joe Biden.
White man.
But not Donald Trump either.
I think he's got the potential. He said some stuff which can kind of say, well, listen, being an older generation, we can listen, we can kind of move some stuff around, but you definitely need young, some like leaders that like a proper leader, that can latest generation could kind of, like a Martin Luther King of our age, kind of like a Churchill of our age, kind of like those type of leaders who can inspire and lead us in the right direction. I think that's what we need. It's kind of that's the way that's where I see it's going to change is we can actually,
And at the minute we're stuck with Boris and
at the minute we're stuck with Boris and fucking Scotty for marketing and it's like we're stuck with the dude that can't fucking dress himself, another dude that takes fucking holidays at completely inappropriate times, and another dude who wants to grab pussy in a fucking locker room.
Jesus
it's kind of
Christ.
like how fucked up is that? Like, I mean, where's
it's 2020. It's the roast of 2020. That's how fucked up it is.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Is the title of your YouTube was stuck with marketing.
That's what I'll just put like the quotation marks.
Yeah, it's stuck with three fuckwits. It's stuck with,
and we're only up to May. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, exactly.
We're 3 hours in, and nearly 3 hours in.
Yeah, so there we go. I knew the Hazy Pals would kick in sometime. They just kicked in.
I don't even. We're up to the deaths of May now, I think.
We got Little Richard.
Yeah, I was gonna say Little Richard was one.
That's a big one. Jerry Stiller.
Serenity now, serenity now. That was like one of my favorite parts of Seinfeld.
I'm just looking, see if there's any more. Really, other than George Floyd, Jerry Stiller, and Little Richard, we've spoke about. Well, that's it. Bob Hammond, I have no idea who that is. I think, don't quote me on this, we're good to go on to Discord. Don't do it, man. It's done it.
Yeah, now we're getting into the protests.
You know what? Like that. I'll play it like that.
Can we take a quick toilet break?
Yeah, that's fine. It'll give me a chance to fix the cameras for the time because Discord's a prick.
Thank God, I'm fucking dying.
Dude, I honestly didn't expect us to go on for this. The cameras have gone completely fucked again.
Man.
I was debating a smoke break, but bothered. We've gone on for quite some time. It's fine. Freaking.
Damn you, Discord. I'm gonna pay a visit.
Yep. I'll
quick
sort the cameras out.
Sweet. I shall return.
This definitely went on longer than I anticipated. Sorry about this, chat. I'm fixing the cameras on the go yet again because Discord's fucking with me today. I have no idea why. But we shall prevail. We shall fix it on the fly. That's sadly the problem with us having to do all this stuff digitally at the minute. Because of the hot topic we've been speaking about all 3 hours, COVID. Sadly, we have to do all of this. I think I'm going to take a quick pee break, chat, so I shall be right back. Give me 2 minutes. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're not going to see this. I'll edit it out. Fuck it.
still got to go to fucking Ryman. I've got to go to fucking Ryman's. It closes in 2.5 hours. So I'm like asking it. Nah. To fucking hell. That's all. Oh god.
You got troubles, put them in the past. You're free at last, time to have a blast. You don't know when we're so glad that you asked. It's the FOZCAST.
Right, I think we're back and all the cameras are fixed. I could be wrong. They're fixed. Right, we're good. Right, if we need to whiz through this, we can just go over the important ones if you want, like the events of interest. And then I can cut it into sections. We're still on George Floyd in
It's alright.
June.
I mean, Ryman's only up the road, so it's fine.
So, new Ebola outbreak in Democratic Republic in June 2nd. More COVID. Fucking COVID has really dominated this year, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
June 2nd, UN Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet says pandemic is exposing endemic inequalities around the world, cites death of George Floyd and higher death toll of ethnic minorities. Which is true. People of colour have actually been dying more during COVID. Not just of COVID as well.
Well, yeah, it's because of the neglect. It's gone on throughout history. Because I can't remember, there was a journal paper released. Oh, there's a little kid watching me through my window. That's really weird.
Yeah.
He's standing on a balcony, he's just staring at me.
Hello?
But yeah, there was a journal article released, I think like 1992, I want to say, about how Black people feel less pain medically than any other ethnicity. And it's just like they're historically they're not offered painkillers. They're not offered, even now. There was an article the other day about a woman that was going through childbirth, and she was giving birth to twins, and the entire time she was screaming she wanted an epidural, and they said, oh no, like, you're fine, you're not in any pain. Yet there was a white woman next to her in the cubicle, and they gave her painkillers without even like sort of having to wait for her to ask. It's just like the two juxtapositions. It's so rife throughout history.
You see,
That's intense. It's kind of,
I just don't like it. Like Ed said as well, like previously, I just don't know how we address that issue. Unless, I mean, we've seen like Black Lives Matter movement, we've seen like silent protests, we've seen some like with violence in there, whether it was black people or not, we don't know that. Like he said, like it could be people like inciting it for the wrong reasons. That's Jazz's alarm going. And it's just a bit crazy. Like, I don't really know how we approach it, really. I mean, it's a bit of a weird subject. We could talk about it for hours, probably. But we're at 2 hours 54 already. Maybe that can be its own separate podcast. And I don't kind of want to box them in and say, oh, let's like just get black people on because this is going to sound really weird, and say, oh, let's just get black people on and then people can be included. But I mean, they're the ones that are dealing with it. So it's probably better to make like just people like you and me that we know everyday life, not celebrities, because I feel like they kind of have
like an
But that's the
ulterior
thing, though.
motive.
It's not a conversation that they need to have. It's a conversation that we, like white people, Latinos, like Hispanic, there's a lot of sort of internalized racism there. There's colorism. There's, you know, Middle Eastern.
The thing
It's
with
all the
that for
people.
me is I wouldn't know where to start because I'm not racist anyways, like deep down, if that makes sense. Like I wouldn't know how to address that because to me, if I don't treat anyone differently because they're of a different like ethnicity or from a different country to me. Like I'll understand, like I've worked with Polish people, Latvians, and I might not understand every word they say because they've not learnt like what's the word, like perfect English. But I'm not going to treat them any different just because they were born in a different part to Europe than me, you know? So it's kind of like my cousin, she's married to someone from Nigeria, and like I wouldn't know where to. I know him really well, but I wouldn't know how to bring like that conversation up with him.
Yeah. It's like a good mate that I work with who's actually one of my references. He's from Zimbabwe. And he's like super intellectual, like super nice. But yeah, like being a good mate who I respect and put down as a reference for when I go for jobs is how I can't approach it with him. Like, but the thing is, like, spending time with him, I don't feel like I have to. I just treat him like it's kind of, I don't know, he's a buddy. It's kind
Exactly, that's it.
it's not a conversation that I feel pressured in having with him because it's not the basis of our friendship and our working relationship. It's
It's
there's
just your
already
mate, you don't.
there's a mate. It's in there, and there's already a level of respect there with each other, and it's kind of like, well, I respect him that much, so I can put him into as my reference, and I'll, it's a. So
And I feel
everyone
like
gets
as
the same
well,
much.
anybody who
Yeah.
is sort of racist or homophobic or any of the isms or the phobias is that I feel like they're like that forever, in a sense. Like, maybe 1 out of 10 you'll get a good reasoning with them and they might change, but the other, like, 9 out of 10, it's not worth your time, in a sense. And when you've got someone, I mean, hopefully he'll fuck off by the end of the year, with someone who's just willing to fuel that flame like Donald Trump and not sort of do anything to address it, then you're kind of fucked from the off, and you kind of need to like dig up the deeper rooted issues there. Like,
Yeah,
anytime I've tried to
it's
reason with someone that's racist or homophobic, I cannot have a conversation with them 9 out of 10 times because they're just not intellectually smart enough to realise that just because someone's a different skin colour to you, that they shouldn't,
yeah,
you shouldn't receive
you don't,
preferential treatment over them just because you're white. And
yeah, and it's the age old saying of you never argue with an idiot because
exactly.
they'll find a way to bring you down to their level then bet you on experience. And it's the same with someone who's homophobic, racist, bigotry, sexist, is that their ideologically how they think is just so fucking stupid.
And 9 times out of 10, it's something that's like instilled by their parents as well. Their parents have brought them up
that's
like
it.
that.
Like it's generations. Like it's because parents it's like, oh, hang on, it's not like that at all. It's kind of like that's like happened 2% of the time of the past, and things like it's generation. But the thing is, it's not like just 1 or 2 generation. It's kind of like historical. It goes back,
and I do feel like
years.
the more generations that go on, the more tolerant we are becoming and more understanding that.
For me, like, having sort of first-hand experience with being sort of, what's the word?
Discriminated.
Figure out what the fuck. Discriminated, yeah. Like, for my sexuality and for sort of being who I am by really close family members to me, and then.
But is that generational, or do they not understand?
So the age-old excuse that I always get, or the rebuttal is, that's how we were raised, and for me, that's the most bullshit excuse ever. And I think there's certain things that are generational, but I think hatred is sort of being raised in a house where, you know, I've heard it all in regards to sexuality, in regards to the race, and yeah. And then sort of having my views and knowing that my views are very much different to a lot of my family members. But I was raised in that, but I'm not like that at all. I believe that everyone that deserves rights. I believe that everyone, no matter where you come from, what religion you like, I believe that everyone should have their own beliefs. But I don't think hatred is generational. I just think people sort of use that as an excuse in a lot of situations. I think that hatred is not generational.
I think people of our generation, though, are much more open to open conversations and maybe having not their views changed, but their views challenged.
Yeah.
Whereas anyone who's, say, of my parents' generation, my mum's like 50 odd, my stepdad's 60 odd, you try and have a conversation with them and sort of challenge their beliefs, they're not willing to discuss that in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I had an argument with my mum just yesterday, not about her being racist or homophobic, but more classist. We were talking about, like, Ed, I don't know if you'll have heard about this, but Marcus Rashford, who plays for Manchester United, was basically pushing the children to get free meals that they would get in school term times in, like, school holidays or like vacations. And now low income families. And I said to my mother, like, why wouldn't you want that? Like, it's stop kids being in poverty. And her argument to me was that, well, there's people that blow their money on tobacco or weed or alcohol. And I said, but what's to stop the government putting something in place to stop that? You know, like vouchers. You know, something like that. And she wasn't willing to change her stance at all on that. Her stance was they'd just waste the money and that's it, and she wouldn't have a conversation with me. I just gave up trying. But younger people, I feel like, may be willing to have like an open discussion about that. And the same goes with like racism and homophobia. Like, I think our generation's a lot more tolerant, and hopefully after so long we'll just pass it on to a point where it's wiped out. But I'm hoping, like, the people that are actually smart and see sense eventually start to outweigh the fucking retards that have, like, been passed down, you know? Like, I hate to use the R word, but that's just what I think of anyone that's racist or homophobic. Like, it's just, are you really that stupid?
Yeah, definitely. Look at what Marcus Rashford's doing. Freaking top idea, and I'm glad it's coming from someone like I'm a Liverpool supporter, so Man United are just,
and that's it though. But anyone,
but seeing Marcus Rashford, who's in who's in a proper position to lead and a proper position to assist in change, is saying, well, let's give some bare necessities across the board. And it's a starting point. It's about having some fundamentals in place, like a basic standard of living.
where like we're saying like fundamental racism and there's like deep rooted problems, is that most of the people that are disrespecting him and talking shit about him for wanting to do that are white people. And they don't want him to do that because like it'd make the country better. The reason they don't want him to do it is because he's mixed race.
He's biracial.
Yeah, exactly. So
interesting, because I was actually on the bus the other day, and I was listening to this little old white lady, and she was talking to someone on the phone about it, and you could tell that she was sort of upper class. She had like really nice designer clothes on. She had like a Birkin bag, and she was discussing. She was discussing free meals for low income families, and she was saying like, oh, why can't they just pay their way like we did? And it was like, first of all, if you have money, then you don't need any sort of handing outs. You should be sort of taking care of your community, helping out in ways that you can, not even monetary wise. But how can you sit there in a very sort of apparent upper class position, speaking on things that you do not know anything about? Like,
and the whole like, she doesn't understand that the point is she shouldn't have had to live that way. Like, skimping and scraping to pay away. Nobody should live like that. And that's the whole point of it in progression, making sure kids have food, making sure there's nobody in poverty. But she thinks like, oh, well, I did it, so everybody else should suffer. No, that's the whole point why Marcus Rashford wants to do that.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's kind of like the whole, everyone should be entitled to the basic necessities, which is a roof over their head and food in their belly. They're two things that the people should be entitled to. Everything else above and beyond that is personal choice, but it's about a roof over their head to feel safe and being able to survive to the bare essentials in life.
And that's just it. Here in England, there's like 4 essentials that they mark, and it's like clothes, clean water, food, and a property to live in. And if you don't have at least 2 of those things, you're classed as in poverty. And like 2/3 of Britain are classed as that right now,
which is crazy.
Yep. I mean, holy fuck! There's so much to go through on here. Fucking Simon Cowell breaks his back. Where am I on fucking August? How am I up to August? Simon Cowell breaks his back. What have I missed on July? Anything interesting July?
I was going to say one thing in June was the death of Mixer.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout. Actually, I forgot about that. What about Dr. Disrespect moving to YouTube, getting banned off of Twitch?
No, the fact that in start of June, I think it was the start of June, where the CEO of Mixer called all the streamers slaves. And
by the end
of June, they're like, Microsoft like, oh yeah, we're selling it to Facebook. Everyone's going to Facebook
because he knew he fucked up.
Yeah, that was one thing from June that I kind of wanted to touch on. I'm just looking through June at the moment. It's kind of,
is that on this page? Or is that just something you remembered?
That's something I looked at last night. I'm like, I wonder when the Mixer was.
June. Yep, and then Mixer died a horrible, horrible death.
Horrible death.
Yeah, like I was saying as well, relating back to streaming, Dr. Disrespect ban. That was like a massive thing all over, like the mystery of what he did. Why did he get banned? We still don't know to this day.
Yeah,
he's just streaming on YouTube now. Jacob Blake, another victim of police brutality. Visits the city of Kenosha, Wisconsin, where Jacob Blake was shot to offer support to law enforcement. Wow.
Rayshard Brooks was murdered in June, I think. June or July.
Robert Patterson tests positive for COVID.
August 4th, huge explosions at the port of Beirut, Lebanon, kill more than 200 and leaves over.
That was massive.
Watched the thing last night. There was a doctor. She was getting filmed for her wedding.
Oh yeah, I saw that as well.
Squares. And it, like, as it went off, it was intense, and within a couple of hours, she's back in the hospital in a wedding dress, operating.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I was like, freaking, there's hope for the human rights. I was like, freaking respect, fucking respect.
David Attenborough breaks Jennifer Aniston's record as the fastest person to reach 1 million followers on Instagram. That makes me have faith in humanity as well.
Yeah, that does as well. It's actually freaking.
August 7th, Cardi B WAP came out.
Wow, God's sake.
I remember, who was it? It was responded to a tweet.
I feel bad because we're like skimming through the last months, but I feel like we've spent like so much time looking through stuff. COVID has just dominated this year. It's
safe to say it's. But yeah, I remember a tweet that Navi Bolero put out, just like for the acronym WAP. What without using its actual meaning, what is it? So I responded with warm apple pie, with the picture of Jim from with a picture of Jim from American Pie just after he
fucks the
on a apple pie. She's like, no, I'm like, it had to be done.
WAP, white ass politician. That's all it is.
Labour Party headed by Jacinda Ardern re-elected in landslide in New Zealand's general election.
Oh, love Jacinda.
Yeah, Queen. I'd actually kill for a fucking prime minister like her.
A normal one.
Yeah.
It's the fact that after the Christchurch massacre, she actually went out and did what, prime ministers are supposed to do.
She's done well. Like she was when she got elected for the first time, she was pregnant. Which was crazy. Had a baby, kind of had some time off, and then came back like within a few months. Intense.
When Eddie Van... Jesus, am I in September here? No, I've skipped all the way fucking forward to October.
August 20th, Kamala Harris accepts her nomination for vice president, becoming the first US woman of color on a major party ticket, saying there is no vaccine for racism. Amen.
There's no vaccine for being a cunt. That's what she should have said. That's probably what she wanted to say.
Former advisor to Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, arrested and charged with fraud over a fundraising campaign to build a wall on the Mexican border. August 20th.
Good. Piece of shit. Deserves it.
Oh, Lori, that whole scandal where Lori Loughlin and her husband paid for their daughter to get into university, into college. August 21st. That was quite big news.
I was going to say for August for noted deaths, Chadwick Boseman.
Oh,
yeah, that one hit me like a fucking truck. I bet that one hit you hard with Chris always like having comics and shit.
Yeah, I mean, me and him were both raised on that sort of thing, so yeah, that was insane. That didn't see it coming.
I didn't even know he was singing that, so I was like, yeah, he's passed away. I was like, really?
Nobody knew he was ill other than like the director of Black Panther, apparently, and his family. Apparently, he told the director of like Black Panther he's not going to be around for a second movie, and apparently, like him and his family were like the only people he told, which is pretty nutty.
That was so sad.
I hate how when there's like a beheading or a shooting, they always put the religion of the person. It really fucks me off. Johnny Depp lost his LaBelle case against The Sun, which called him a wife beater of Amber Heard. That's fucked.
Can't stand that woman.
That's November. I were fucking skipping way for far forward here.
What month was it the dude that played Darth Vader passed away?
This month, wasn't it?
That was last month.
Or this
month or
last
last
month? The dude that played Boba Fett passed away.
This month, yeah.
Yeah, this month.
I think actually that was the other day.
As you can
yeah,
tell,
that was the other day, right? As they brought the last episode of The Mandalorian out. US President Donald Trump pardons former security advisor Michael Flynn guilty of lying to the FBI.
I saw that.
September 14th, astronomers report possible sign of life on Venus after detecting phosphine in planet's atmosphere by telescope. I'm a space nut. I love that.
Alex Trebek,
so cool.
Canadian-American TV game host of Jeopardy, dies of cancer at aged 80.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Diego Maradona. Forgot about that one. Jazz had to take him out the thumbnail for the poster because he was in the way. He's there with like his arm up and Jazz had to take him out. Dave Prowse, English actor, November 28th. Played Darth Vader.
October 2nd, Trump and Melania Trump got tested positive for COVID. There's so much. It's literally just COVID after COVID.
Yeah. It's just like October 14th, a copy of William Shakespeare's first folio sells for a record 9.98 million.
Actor Elliot Page, formerly known as Ellen Page, reveals he is transgender. That's this month.
October 17th, Chicago declared the rattiest city in America for the 6th year in a row. By pest control service. So
I love how we're just reading these out one at a time now. Coca-Cola named the world's #1 plastic polluter. Jesus Christ.
October 21st, Pope Francis backs same-sex civil unions in interview in documentary film Francesco. See, God does love gay people.
I like Pope Francis. I think he's kind of... He's done more.
The thing is, though, like, religion now, they have to kind of realise that if they don't, like, keep up with the times, religion will just be phased out altogether. Again, religion's, like, something that's passed on to you by your parents, and, like, they brainwash you from, like, a kind of a young age. If you're from, like, a Christian family, you're probably going to be a Christian.
Yeah. Oh, my God, October 6th, Eddie Van Halen.
Oof.
That was awful. Oh my God, there's some big deaths that have happened this year.
Too many to count.
Did
Sean Connery
die this year?
Did who die? Lemmy.
Lemmy. Was it this year?
I think
no,
that was
Lemmy
last year.
died like 5 years ago.
Yes, yeah. For some reason,
Yeah, Sean Connery, October 31st. I swear to God, if the year ends and Betty White is still alive, she's also immortal.
Betty White.
Yeah, Betty
The
White.
day Betty White dies, that's it. I'm done. Take me with you. I'm jumping in the coffin too. Hey.
Yeah, November 8th, Rudy Giuliani holds infamous Trump campaign press conference at Four Seasons Total Landscaping in Philadelphia to contest the US election results.
That the one where he had the sweat dripping down his head and it was like brown.
Yeah.
No, that was the one where they were meant to do the Four Seasons Hotel in Philly.
And they were right
Taking
next
the
to the
landscaping
Dilfer shop.
sector. Yeah, so it's like the way that I look at that is whoever owns the Four Season Total Landscaping is either a Democrat was like, well, fuck you, this is going to be hilarious. Yeah, we'll take this booking because they're going to rock up, they're going to see what they're up against. Or the Four Seasons dude that owns Four Seasons is a Republican was like, yes, Rudy Giuliani's coming, the Republicans are coming, and was super hyped to have them. It was kind of like two ends of the spectrum.
They're either
Yeah,
loving it
hilarious.
or just absolutely mocking the fuck out of him, essentially.
Yeah.
Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton wins a record 8th Hungarian Grand Prix in Budapest to equal Michael Schumacher's record.
Not a massive fan of Lewis. I think he's very arrogant.
I reckon, yeah, I do.
He used to be racing, but now, especially after a few races back, I can't remember. I think it was Abbott. No, it wasn't Abbott. I can't remember his name now. He's a youngster. He's like 19, 20 years old. And he clipped the back of Lewis Hamilton's car. And then he just went into him, like just started ribbing him as though it wasn't an accident. And everyone was just blowing up all about it, saying, how are you doing this? Like, after all these years you've been in this this job, like, you know that accidents happen. It's not like he did it on purpose. He's a young boy. He's still very new to this profession.
I thought it was very convenient they had the young English dude replacing the other, I think the second last race, when Lewis was out with because he had COVID. And the dude qualified, I think, second, and ended up was winning the race. And yeah, conveniently they put the wrong tires on his car, and he ended up like dropping from like first down to like 14. It's like, yeah, that's a setup.
Yeah, suspicious as fuck.
Got
stitched up because the week before it's like, yeah, if he wins, what's everyone going to say about Lewis Hamilton? And yeah, sure enough, didn't win. Should have.
December 9th, Canada approves the Pfizer/BioNTech vaccine for COVID-19. America's FDA authorizes the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use December 11th.
I'm wondering if that's actually going to be any good. Like they say they've tested it and whatnot. And I'm not like an anti-vax by any definition. I'm just wondering if it's actually going to be effective. Like they've trialed it and whatnot, but like I just don't know.
So vaccines usually take between, oh god, my maths is shit, but usually vaccines will be good after about 12 years of sort of testing it. But this has been sort of manufactured in the last 8 months. And I can see why people are skeptical about it and why a lot of people probably won't take the vaccine. But, you know, when you've got someone in power that's literally telling you to put fucking bleach into your blood, like...
bleach or 3-quarter test vaccine. 3-quarter
oxychloroquine or whatever the fuck it was we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
For fucking malaria, yeah.
I mean, I think as well,
listen to scientists.
What they're putting in you is not like a dead or alive, like the actual like the virus, that it's not there. They're not actually injecting the virus into your body, so it's not like a flu shot where you might get a bit of like mild flu. It's like it basically just gives more. I think it just gives your body more antibodies, or strengthens the antibodies you've already got to fight against it. Like they can't inject you with a live dose of COVID or dead dose because it could fuck you up.
Well, every vaccine has a portion. It has a small strain of the disease it's trying to cure. So with the flu shot, it does have a small strain of the flu bacteria in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the compound breakdown of the Pfizer vaccine is, but I'm gonna guess it has a small strain of COVID in it. But
I was
again,
watching Joe Rogan, and I'm not sure if what he said is exactly true. Like,
I
spot
wouldn't
on.
listen to Joe Rogan anyway.
I don't know if it has a. I don't know if it has like a COVID compound. Hold on. Either way, I'd take it if it did or not.
Yeah.
Just simply because
I've got the flu shot once in my life before. So I'm one of those freaking freaky people that rarely get sick, but when it comes to something like COVID, I'll be like, jam it in me.
See, I'm
Big
the complete
Stick said his
opposite.
girlfriend's getting it in 5 days.
Yes, let us know how it goes. But like, I'm the complete opposite. Like, I've got a lung condition, so I sort of get not even forced to take the flu shot every single year, but they, like, my pharmacist always sort of advises me to do so. But every single
Yeah.
time I get the flu shot, I always get sick constantly. Like, last year, I sort of had a mild case of pneumonia after that, and it still didn't stop me from taking the flu shot this year. It's simply because my body is really susceptible to illness because my immune system is absolute dog shit. So
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, you're better off with the smaller dose than running the risk of getting a bad kind of
absolutely, like if
case
I
out of
got,
the blue.
because I got put on the vulnerable person list, because I've also got fluid in my lung. So if I caught COVID, game over. We wouldn't be having this stream right now.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
So apparently it's studded with proteins that it uses to enter human cells. I don't know if there's actually any like COVID in there. The vaccine getting COVID is the only way out anyways. Listen, I said this to my psychiatrist, and the only person that's taking me out is me. Not COVID.
Hey.
Not any other human being. If anything or anyone is doing it, it's me.
Yeah.
And I will go out in a blaze of glory, thinking of like some
I've already said if I
masterpiece
get
way
cancer.
to do it. The vaccine particles bump into the cells and fuse, releasing mRNA. The cell's molecules read its sequence and build spike proteins. Okay.
You wouldn't really need to try my blood. My cells would lay down and let them take it.
Dude, I don't know what it is about when I have blood taken. Like, mentally, I feel fine. Like, I don't have anxiety or, like, feel freaked out by anything. But the minute, like, they take the needle out my arm, that's it. My body's just, like, freaking out. I don't know why. Like...
It's foreign. It's a foreign object. That's why.
Yeah, my body just goes into, like, shock. Like, mentally, I don't feel, like, weird at all. But my body just feels like proper, like, sickly.
So that's like it is like a mental kind of shock to the system people have with like the fear of needles. It's like one thing is kind of like seeing it and they're getting jabbed in. The other end is like getting getting taken out. As I said, it's like a foreign object, and
I wouldn't say I'm like I fear it or I'm scared of it. It's just like I can look at it and be fine, but like my body feels weird about it. Like I feel sick, not like dizzy or anything, just sick. It's weird how like nothing else feels weird. Like I don't go dizzy or be like anxious about it. Just my stomach just turns. It's just like ugh. It's horrible. We're now at 3.5 hours.
My God.
We skipped the last 6 months.
It's Christmas for Ed.
I mean, what has
25 minutes, 24 minutes before it's Christmas Day for me.
Fucking hell.
Thank God, I've got fucking nothing.
I can't lie. I cannot lie. I'm fucking flagging. I didn't sleep last night, and it's like 4 o'clock here nearly now, and I'm like,
oh man.
Literally, I fell asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. Got woken up at 6 to go grocery shopping. Came back. Had to do laundry. Now I did this. Now I got to go back out shopping because I didn't get the.
All right, let me just check PayPal real quick. Thank you, broski.
Stanley, you're way too loud. I'm looking for someone live, like, to raid if anyone has any suggestions.
I've got Kobez is on.
Kobez is live now?
Yeah. Play some Escape from Tarkov.
Of course he is. Do we go raid Mr. Kobez? Because I'm flagging here. And I'm gonna have to like.
I've got no more like sensible conversations in me without if I stay on for any longer, it's going to be a lot of
just
stupidity
like
coming out of
waffling on, yeah. Right.
Yeah, Mocha's on. Mocha
if you have the Fozzy raid emote, there it is. If you're not subbed and you've got enough channel points, go buy that right now. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. You can buy it with your channel points down below.
If I'm saving them up for the Jazzy slap.
Or an emote's only like 300 points. Don't be cheap, man.
480, bruv.
I'm not even asking you to give me your hard-earned real-life money for an emote.
Just spend my channel points.
Because I'm absolutely.
Don't tell me that's the only time I get to use it.
It's like absolutely sick like that. So yeah, Ed, you're in like the future. If I'm streaming at like 4 a.m. my time, you're awake. It's fucked. We'll raid Kobez. He's playing some Tarkov. Even if it's not your game, just say hello to him for like 2-3 minutes. He's fucking hilarious as well. He comes out with the most random shit at times. I'm actually exhausted. So I'm probably going to go ask your botty brother if he wants to play a game. I don't know when I'm going
to speak to him
before you do, yeah. I'll be live probably next week because Jazz is streaming over the weekend, maybe. So I shall see you all then. Keep an eye out for that, and I'll upload this one on YouTube when I get done editing it. I shall catch you all next week. Goodbye.
Sounds good. Thanks for hanging out.
Let's get Kobez. Where the hell's he gone? Why am I not following Kobez? I've had him followed for ages.
Fozzy?
Did I crash his game?
Yo, bro, you didn't have to raid me. Fuck.